Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 25th of September 2011. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, outside, is Zachary Burgess.
Outside, fuck!
And Robert Kemp.
I don't have to be particularly delicate today, do I? I can might walk around and my footsteps can't be heard.
Well, if you're wearing socks on the patio, yeah.
It's my outdoor chic. I'm sure that's how Bear Grylls
Wearing
does it.
no fucking shoes at all.
Yes. We're coming to you from Elmswell, in the middle of the sticks, basically.
Which is
Nowhere.
why there's going to be lots of wind and highway noise.
Yes, well, that's not really why. Why is because we've chosen to sit outside, because it's quite nice outside, so we thought, well, let's do it.
But by the time this podcast ends, it'll be fucking cold, probably.
Yeah,
So.
probably.
It's
I've
a test
got my cardigan ready, so...
I do not.
Don't worry, you guys are more
It's a
resilient.
proper test for noise reduction technology.
Indeed, it's going to be interesting. Do you think every time there's a gust of wind, it will go warble, warble, warble?
Yes.
Well, that was quite a strong one.
Yeah.
My tissue.
I think the wind's supposed to get up quite strong today.
Oh, even more great.
Oh, this is going to be entertaining.
It's going to be
nice.
quite interesting. Yeah. So,
So now that we've talked about the weather,
Yeah.
in very British style.
it's a key British topic.
I mean, if you're going to
Conversation.
advertise to our American brethren about about a podcast,
about the Englishness
it's
of
like,
it.
listen to a gaming podcast from even more Britishness. We even talk about the weather and shit, yo.
We've
The
kind
weather
of-
and shit, yo.
We've kind of failed on the British beverage front, though. You've both got cans of Coke, so we're not having cups of tea out here.
And a glass of high juice.
That's true. Is that British? I say
I'm not
that.
sure what Tesco's.
Tesco's, yeah.
Maybe. Or Sainsbury's.
Or Co-op.
There we go.
That's the advertising segment.
Well, you don't know from that. I know
What
I
you
just said.
yeah.
But you don't know from that.
You might be able to tell. There might be a very specific noise.
I've got
Oh,
a freaking
fuck,
thing
I'm-
on my iPod. You
Oh, Coke
phone.
went everywhere.
There you go. It's alright, it's alright.
have
It's fine.
a
no problem,
sampling of my tissue. It's unused.
No,
No
thanks.
problem. Why have you got tissues as well?
I'm
He's
slightly
nosing.
emboldened.
Oh, slightly emboldened.
So, to try and reduce the risk of...
yeah,
I'm gonna be...
Great.
you decide to increase the risk to 100% before you jump in.
Well, actually, with the advantage of being outside or something, I can quite easily run to a safe distance, blow the shit out of this nose,
Blow the fucking shit out of it.
and then just return. But you will be none the wiser. Except for
You
the fact
faintly
that...
hear it in the back.
Except if someone asks me a question, of course, then I might be in trouble.
Yeah.
There might be
Mexican roll.
there might be plenty of Mexican Rob appearances.
You ask him a question about what he's been playing, suddenly runs off and you hear this nose explosion in the distance. Comes back. So, yes, should we get on to computer games? That is the
Apparently
topic.
we need to, because there's lots of them again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a busy week.
Have we got any
2
news
weeks, 2
to
weeks.
cover?
Back from beta is coming like next week, but apart from it's only going to be like a week before the actual game comes out, so it's not really a beta, it's a demo.
Are you going to join that demo beta?
Depends. I'm not sure what the process of doing so is. Like, you know, whether they require some kind of inputs,
What is it?
or
I
whether I'll forget that it happens or something.
heard you get like Dead Space 2 free if you pre-order on Origin.
Well, too
That's
late. I
pretty
already
good.
pre-ordered on game. Because fuck Origin. Even though I'm going to have to install it to play this fucking game, fuck it until the last possible moment.
That's because you want your physical warfare back.
That too. I also want the stupid bonus items you
Oh,
can get from buying it from a physical shop.
I was about to say, what is actually in that again? I can't remember.
It's like
Some
a
gun.
shotgun and a flash suppressor for a sniper rifle.
Might
Do we
not be
know if
asked.
you can get that gun that was your favourite in Battlefield 2? The British, like...
What, the green one?
yeah, the
Whatever it was called.
SA-80. No, it wasn't an SA-80, but it looked like
It
an
had
SA-80.
like an
it was
L
like
in
an
it or
LR,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
something or other.
The medic gun.
Yeah. But it wasn't unlocked by default, was it?
No.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But it didn't go ping when you clipped out.
No, that's true. That was only 1942 where those engineers on that one specific map had it.
Yeah,
That stupid Pacific map.
which is awesome.
They only had that because they copied that. I mean, I know the real gun did that, but they mainly copied that off...
Call of Duty, wasn't it?
well, it was...
The first one? Or was it Medal of Honor?
It was Medal of Honor Allied Assault, which was actually the Call of Duty people before they split off and made Call of Duty. They were called 2015, I think, at the time, and they split off and made Infinity Ward.
Which is a much better name.
Sort of.
Infinity Ward's a much better name than 2015.
Only because 2015 is nearly arrived, and
Yeah.
then you'd be fucked.
They weren't very
We're in the
future-thinking.
What does Infinity Ward mean, though?
It's a war against infinity.
Well, no,
No, infinity's here.
No, it is.
Either that or
Go
it's
away.
an endless room of sick people.
The infinity hospital.
Hey, I'm thinking Theme Hospital, are you? Like,
Welcome to the Infinity Ward.
Oh,
shit.
no.
I do not want to be here.
You'll be waiting for a long time. Oh man, that game was cool.
I suppose the NHS will have to open that at some point.
English.
Political.
Oh, there's a release date for the MMO. What's it? The Old Republic. It's like
Oh
December.
yeah, where they said this year for sure.
And it is this year.
As late as humanly possible.
It's like December the 10th or something.
Oh, it's not that late then.
Yeah.
It could have been like the 31st.
Getting out for Christmas.
Just about.
Not that you'd buy an MMO for Christmas, I imagine.
I'm vaguely considering trying that.
No, you'd buy it for
I've
life.
never played an MMO. It'd be interesting.
That's true. You should join us in Guild Wars, though.
Yeah, we're going to be Guild Wars 2ing it.
Oh, are you?
Not that you have to
doesn't
pay
appeal
monthly
to me.
for that, though, of course. So,
Yeah,
That's
it'd be
true.
free.
But then that'd be free
not
forever,
free,
wouldn't
free.
it? I could do both because I could just buy that straight off. How
Yeah,
much would that be? Like 30 quid?
Probably on launch.
Forever?
Yeah, it'll probably
It dropped in price really quickly, didn't it?
Well, that's
the
because they
last
were
one.
making expansions for it,
Yeah.
like, so
Because
soon
I
afterwards.
remember
Is that how
picking
they
it
make money from making you buy expansions?
Pretty much.
It's not
I
really
actually don't,
making you buy it, though.
I actually don't know what their
Because they're
model
all
relies
totally
on.
separate.
Because it's like, I picked my copy up for £18.
Well, they did
And
eventually...
it's like, that's not much of an investment.
They did eventually put in, like, a cash store or whatever. Like, you can expand your storage by paying money.
Oh, okay.
So there is small amounts of microtransactions, like extra character slots or whatever.
Yeah.
There is some microtransactions, but not really that many. And those didn't appear until, like, the third expansion or something, so...
So have you heard about this crazy store? This is slightly old news, but on Diablo 3 or whatever, where you can pay with real money and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Real money auctions. Fun times.
It's bizarre.
Did we really talk about
I
that?
suppose it's like
don't think we
legitimizing
did.
something that already happens, though, in fairness.
Well, that's what they're saying.
that's-
They're like, it
that's the
happened on
fact.
eBay. If you
Yeah.
broke the user agreement, you could just do it.
It's just like how they did it in EVE with the buying game time for in-game cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just legitimate.
Legitimizing what already happened.
Diablo 3 isn't even an MMO. It's just a
Well, it's multiplayer.
Well,
at
it's
least,
sort of
so
an MMO, isn't it? Because you do sort of...
You
character-
do the grinding.
you grind your character still.
yeah, but that RPGs have character grinding.
And you can play in multiplayer, but you don't have to.
It's like Guild Wars, basically.
Yeah.
Apart from Guild Wars goes up to 8, or possibly more. Actually, I don't know if they've announced over there. I think it might be 12 now.
What goes up to 8?
Teams in Guild Wars.
Oh, right. I was about to say, it would be interesting to see if they opened up, like, given that they've added support for these ridiculous Uber fights, that the actual instances could support quite a lot of players now. Would
I
be
think
quite
I
cool.
think I heard it was 12.
Rather than 6.
8.
Is it 8?
Yes.
I thought it was always 6.
You haven't got to the bit where it changes to 8. That's how far we've got through the original Guild Wars. We're not even halfway through it.
But if you're in Guild
Like
Wars
that.
and you're in a party of 8 or whatever,
Yeah.
but you can see other players, right?
Not in the instances, though.
Oh, not in the instances. So Diablo is like just instances.
Yeah, basically.
Effectively.
And if it's anything like the previous ones, all the dungeons are randomly generated.
Yeah.
But apart from the odd special. It's a bit like Torchlight in that respect, where the sort of grindy ones are just generated, whereas the special ones are
Yeah.
defined.
Mm.
Presumably it will take that approach again.
Mm.
But, yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's Diablo.
Oh, you said the right.
I know. It's been burrowed into my skull.
Yeah, after we took the piss out of you so much for a month.
I didn't mean to be mean last time. Anyway,
I hate you all.
success.
my English is poor, I'm aware of that.
It's not poor at all.
English according to Rob, as Gnome keeps calling it. But
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, she's just being picky. Right. Should we move on
She's
to...
not here, let's insult her.
I think it'd be picky to criticise your English. Yours is fine. The person I sit next to at
in it
work
though.
says completely the
Boy.
wrong words all the time. Like, I think she's just dyslexic, but she says...
It's not dyslexic if it's speaking.
I'm
is
really
it?
sad.
That's
I mean,
what I was
happy.
wondering.
They have a specific... There's another word for it, isn't there?
Yeah, I need to know what that
It's not
is.
like dyspraxia or something, is it?
Yeah, something along
Yeah,
those
maybe
lines.
that's what it is.
So I had to rescue my tissue. It's windy.
News update, it's windy.
Sorry, I was trying to think of an example, but I can't think of any, so let's move on to computer games.
Yeah.
So,
I don't really think what else I've done other than that. I think it's been a fairly slow 2 weeks for news, really. It's not been too much happening.
Let's take a moment. Just think.
Let's reflect. I just looked at your t-shirt and thought it said rock porn, but I was a bit disappointed when it said rock port.
Because you would have been so enthusiastic for rock porn.
Flint on flint action.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to think of there. It wasn't going to be like rock and roll.
Oh no, that's been done.
It's going to be fucking rocks. Literally.
That niche is oversaturated.
Oh dear.
I bet that site already exists.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does. It's Rule 34, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you can think.
But that one particularly does sound like it's
Yeah.
probably not just rocks. It's probably like natural, like
Stalactites and
trees,
stalagmites.
like trees and rocks.
Yeah.
in awkward looking positions.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like those trees that
Well, tree
form-
porn really does. I've seen that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is quite infamous.
But I
site
imagine
on
that,
tree
I
porn.
imagine that rock porn probably comes under that same. It's like nature porn.
Wait, how, does
Okay.
Apart
tree,
from nature porn means something
how
different.
does tree porn
Is that
work?
like taking awesome
Oh, it's not.
pictures?
It's not like trees and trees. It's like trees and people. I think it's like
Oh,
tree
God.
hugging. It's like hippie.
Oh my word,
Weirdness.
that's much worse. I thought it was like the trees that have those knots in them that
Well,
look a
there's
bit
that.
like lady parts.
There's that too. Right.
So video games.
So let's move on. Zach, what have you been playing these past couple of weeks?
I've been playing so much goddamn stuff, sort of.
So much
Hooray.
goddamn nothing.
Well, basically, I finished Space Pirates and Zombies
Yeah,
3 fucking times.
3 times. I thought you said it took ages to even get to the zombies.
Yeah,
You
basically.
just played it through another 2 times because you're like, whatevs.
Well, it took ages for me to get to the zombies, and then that was where I stopped. Like last time I talked about it,
Yeah.
I basically stopped just as the zombies were appearing. And as I discovered about the zombies, is that it kind of the difficulty curve is kind of dumb because it's like quite hard at the start. Then there's a middle section where it gets actually pretty legitimately hard when the enemies have like bigger ships than you or whatever, and you need to shoot enough of those to steal their blueprints so you can build the bigger
Yeah.
ships.
Balanced but hard.
That's like the hardest bit, and then when you get to the zombies, it gets incredibly easy again. Because
Oh.
the zombies basically, unless it's a zombified ship, the zombie ships that are pure zombie ships, they don't have any shields. So, and you get like a weapon that just goes straight through them, and it just like it hits. And if even on like human ships, it ignores armor, so it directly hits their hull. So you just rip everything apart once you unlock that.
Oh, okay.
So the zombies actually a pretty easy part of the game. So I went through that, and then I finished it. And then I looked at the achievements, and it was like, oh, I've only got 4 achievements to go. I can probably get all of them. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll just play this again. Because it has the classic achievements of like,
S-rank,
do it on
as they
normal, do it on the hard, do it on insanity.
Oh yeah, except for it's a bastard, isn't it?
Yeah, so I went and did it on insanity, and then it turns out that you need to do it in all difficulty modes, because it doesn't give you the one for hard, motherfuckers.
Oh, that's lame.
Bastards.
That is really irritating.
But luckily, I found a cheap trick when I started Insanity. It's obviously like the amount of damage you take is just super ramped up, so you die really quickly.
Mm.
But I found a cheap trick, so I was just like, jiff it, because it's like basically you have a mine layer attachment where you drop it's like this central thing that produces the mines, and they just spread out into a field. And then if that gets destroyed, the minefield disappears or whatever. And it's meant to be cloaked, but because of the AI being not that great, as soon as you drop it, every AI on the map can see it, and they all just charge straight towards it.
Okay.
And it's not so much that the mines do very much damage, it's just that while they're doing that, they're concentrated so much on shooting the mine layer that you can just kill them all.
Crazy fool.
So I was just like, well, I guess I can just jip this.
I noticed you refrained from calling the game Spaz this time.
Well,
It's like whilst making it sound more like one.
yes. But I didn't need to say that again. I
No.
gave it its full
We
title.
covered that. Space pirates and,
and
zombies.
So yeah, I grinded my way through that twice more.
Grounded grind.
It wasn't so bad. Once you realise like what specific like weapons and items you need and what upgrades to take, you can do critical path it a bit more. So you don't have to do quite so much grinding. So I
Yeah.
did it. I did manage to S-rank that, get all the achievements.
So when do you get that ridiculous weapon? Just as soon as you meet the zombies?
No, you can get it slightly before that. It's in like the inner ring of systems, because once you get past the outer ring of star systems,
Tatooine and all that.
yeah, exactly. So you go in there and then you get that ridiculous weapon. Yeah, and you also get some other. Just before that, you get 2 other weapons where there's one which drains enemies' capacitors, so you can steal their energy and keep your energy up. And then there's one which basically, it's like the iron emitter, where it destroys shields, but then after it's taking shields down, it just basically totally disables the ships.
Okay.
And you get this one ship hull that just has 8 turrets. So you just put a shit ton of those on it, and you just you don't actually do any damage. You just use your ship to basically shut down all the enemies, and then wait for your other pansy ships to pick them off.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so that's really the way to get past all those enemies.
Cool.
Just totally shut them down so they can't even move, and it's just like, I guess you're no threat now. So I pansied my way through it. Got the S rank. And then that was the end of that. Thank God. That actually took a ridiculously long time. It was like 77 hours or something. Wow. I played that in total.
Oh my God. That's like twice as much as Deus Ex.
It was
twice as much as I've played Red Dead.
But much like
ridiculous.
Deus Ex, it was like, I probably could have done it a lot quicker. It's like, once I realised the tricks...
Yeah.
You could just shorten.
Are you going to try and get some of those stupid achievements, like the Hounds one?
Fuck that.
On Deus Ex.
I might not even ever play that game again. I might do. I'm still tempted.
You really don't like it that much.
Well, it's like...
Let's talk Deus Ex.
It's like, as I said about Deus Ex last time, it's like, if I wanted to get more achievements, there's obviously the achievement for doing it in the harder difficulties.
Yeah.
But then that just makes it more difficult to get the, like, don't get spotted achievement or whatever.
But does it? I mean, does it make you easier to spot on hard?
Well, it probably doesn't make you easier to spot, but it makes it easier to cock up. It's like you can't get away with... I'm not sure, and especially for things like... Well, it just makes the bosses hard as well, so it's a lot more hassle.
That's true. Yeah, that's a lot more hassle. I don't know.
It's like if I was going to do hard mode, I'd probably want to try a gun run to see if it was legitimately possible just to gun it.
I think you should do it just because for journalism standards.
Just to prove the theory.
Yeah, we need to prove. I think it's
not like you don't have time.
Yeah, I can play other shit.
Exactly. So what else? We'll get on to Deus Ex in my section.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Go on. Not that I have that much to say.
Also, like last week, I can't remember whether it had actually happened. I think we mentioned it in the last podcast that like the Minecraft Adventure update was meant to have come out.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually it did.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, apparently it has come out. So I went and downloaded that and started fucking around with it. And the first thing that happened was it crashed all the time. It was already pretty bad beforehand, and I was like, well, shit. And then I ran the adventure update and was playing it. It was crashing like every 30 minutes or something. I was like, well, this is clearly fucked.
Don't program your indie game in Java.
Well, it's like, as it turned out...
Good knowledge.
It's like, as it turns out, it was like, the solution was basically turn the draw distance down off infinite to... as far as it goes, it's not infinite.
Right.
Where, you get fog or whatever, so you can't see that there isn't any landscape out there. But it's like, I shouldn't really have to turn the draw distance down on fucking Minecraft.
Well, I have the draw distance. I've hopped into Minecraft once so far. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
But the draw distance was not that long. I don't know why.
Well, it's okay for, like... I mean, when there's no fog, you can see, like, a long way.
Yeah. Maybe there was fog when I was playing or something.
Yeah,
I don't think so. It was just a starting area. I mean, does it have random weather when you spawn the world?
I guess so. It could theoretically be raining or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went into that and it crashed.
Well, there were certain things like even the Skylands videos. Not that they weren't infinite draw distance, were they? There was
no,
stuff popped in, and it's like, oh, for the type of level that.
But that was Skylands. There's a lot of open space.
I was about to say, for the type of level that is, the draw distance is a problem, because stuff just sort of appears in the middle of nowhere, bits of it, and you're like, oh, what's that? Should we go investigate? Well, we don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, I guess. But you don't notice it so much. I mean, if you're on like a mountain or whatever, and you look down, because then you can see better, you probably notice it.
Yeah.
So it crashed a lot, and then I was like, well, I have to turn the draw distance down. And then it didn't crash again, and I was like, well, that's dumb. And every time it crashed, it was like, out of memory error, and it was like, what are you talking about, Java? I have like 8 gigs of fucking RAM here, and you're using like 1.
It might be 32-bit limit.
Well, yeah, you can put in like a command line setting on the launcher to limit it to 1 gig of memory, and it's still out of memory errors. So it's not just that it runs out of memory; it tries to get more memory, and it can't.
Wait. So if it out of memory errors when you're allowing it just 1 gig, surely that error should occur more often if it's out of memory and you're running it with less.
You'd think, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's probably a bullshit error.
Yeah, it's not out of memory, it's bad memory writing or something, probably.
Oh, access violations.
Yeah, so it just...
It's managed, isn't it, Java? I thought it was the whole point.
You can still fuck Java up in the same
way
that you can fuck .NET up.
Yeah.
I don't really know how it could be possible that could be a problem with Minecraft. I mean,
anyway,
it is loading a lot of data, like all the individual blocks and
that's
whatever.
True. Yeah. They should have it so that like at a certain I don't know if this is even technically possible, John, but I'm just thinking at a certain distance you just turn them into massive voxels, like in Delta Force, and then just go on forever.
You know what? That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Don't stop rendering them polygonally as blocks and just start voxelizing them, because you could do hybrid polygons.
The thing is they might start looking. Yeah, in the Minecraft universe that might work. Past a certain distance, they just become like low res texture almost. If you see what I mean, like so it keeps that retro feel. It doesn't.
Be weird, but the adventure update itself is like not done. This is only half of it.
They've already sort of let slip that 1.9 is
the other half of the adventure update
is about to come out soon as well, or something.
In theory.
Because they weren't supposed to talk about it or something, but it was like, oh, even Mojang has leaked 1.9 or something.
Oh yeah.
Well, they leaked 1.8 before it even came out, and then everyone was playing it
for like a weekend, didn't they?
Yeah,
not long, but still.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's like the new landscape generation.
Mojang or Mojang? I haven't decided.
They're Swedish, so it could be pronounced something. J could be an H for all we know.
Mojang.
But yeah, the new landscape generation code is kind of nice.
Money.
It's like the biomes are a bit larger, so you don't get lots of little bits of biome all over the place any longer. And there's like new bits of interesting terrain, like ravines and abandoned mines and stuff.
That sounds really cool.
It's cool, except it's the classic thing of like the power of random to make things actually fuck up. It's like you get these abandoned mine shafts where it's like this. Basically, it's a 3x3 corridor with like, you know, wooden support base or whatever.
Yeah,
so
like a proper
So
mine.
it looks like and like occasionally like bits of minecart tracks, so you can steal those, and it's like sweet free minecart track, which is nice.
You just pick them up and use them.
Yeah,
they're already assembled by whoever used the mine.
Yeah, exactly. And
Before
like
the
obviously there's like chests and shit in there, so you can get free stuff
Yeah.
out of chests. But the trouble is that due to the power of random, occasionally you'll get like a nice 3x3 mine shaft and it's all fine. But then you'll get like 3x3 mine shafts where like another one intersects it like one block up, so it like takes off the top of the roof, and then the bottom of that other tunnel doesn't exist, and it's like, god damn it, can you not just space this out a bit more?
Yeah, just have them not build in the same place.
Yeah, if the code was a bit more specific. It's like random is all well and good, but you make it too random, and you just get shit where it's just like, here's a jumble of blocks.
There must be a parameter in there that they could just adjust for that.
It could be like a mine shaft that's collapsed on itself.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like two separate mine shafts that have been dug really retardedly.
Competing companies. Like red versus blue.
It's okay when a mine shaft goes into a ravine, that makes sense. Apart from the fact that, of course, it just continues on the other side of the ravine. Like, somehow we got across there.
Yeah.
Obviously, there should be bridges. It should have terrain generation code where it's like where a mine shaft intersects a ravine, it should make a bridge.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. But yeah.
Need more people to work on it.
And I haven't seen the other type of new terrain, which is called a stronghold, which is some kind of dungeon or something. I say dungeon, but it's just like, here's a lot of empty rooms.
And mobs spawn in there, do they?
Well, presumably, because it will be dark.
Yeah.
And that's all that you need for mob spawning.
Yeah.
And the new stupid Enderman mob is sort of dumb.
The Ham and Enderman.
And annoying. It's mainly dumb because you think it's actually quite dangerous, and it is kind of quite dangerous when you actually fight one, because they teleport around all the time.
Yeah.
And when they move in to attack you, they always teleport behind you, which is really annoying.
What is it they move when you look at them?
When you look at them, they stop, and then when
That's
you look
right.
away, they start teleporting.
So they're like the statues in that Blink or whatever.
Oh, from Doctor Who.
Yeah, basically.
That's pretty cool.
It's not, though. In Minecraft, it's really annoying. I only fought one once, and it's really dumb because I didn't think it was going to be like this, but they're a nighttime mob, so they just burn in the daylight like zombies, which makes them incredibly, it's like if you're sleeping in a bed to avoid the night, you never see them, so skip that again. More new content that you don't see if you're using the systems that they've implemented. And then their stupid block moving capability where they can actually pick up a block and move it around. Naturally, that instantly pissed off everyone who builds anything in Minecraft, because it's like, oh, fucking Enderman are dismantling my goddamn buildings.
What, is that worse than a creeper blowing up and...
Well, it's because creepers are only triggered by players, so if you're paying attention. But whereas Enderman, they just do it all the time during the night.
Oh, right, okay.
So if they're there, they're moving shit around, which just fucks up your buildings. But it also annoyingly fucks up the natural landscape as well, which I find really irritating. Maybe it's a sort of an OCD thing, but where it's like you're walking through a forest and there's just like one block out of the middle of a tree has been placed somewhere else. It's like, motherfuckers, now I'm going to have to cut down that entire tree because that just looks like retardedness.
These random vandals just appear during the night and just move shit.
It's like they should be able to move the middle bits of trees at least, because that's really dumb.
Can they tell between? Do you think there's a flag that shows that a block has been moved by humans, so they can tell what's part of the building and what's just part of the landscape?
Well, people have been saying that they want that, but I don't know if they can. I mean, it would probably make sense for things like the cobblestone and stuff that is normally like the normal sort of building materials, but you can build stuff out of dirt if you want.
I know.
Build stuff out of filth.
But they could.
Yeah, exactly.
Filthy house.
You could still tell, in the code that a block had been moved by a human, and then say, "Well, this is just dirt, but
Maybe.
it's technically part of something."
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how possible that is. And it's, I mean, you don't always move stuff if you want to build.
That's true.
You can build if you're building like naturalistic buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like just digging into the side of a cliff or something.
Yeah. And then they'd be invulnerable to Enderman.
Well, then they say if it was natural, they wouldn't be able to tell. If it was just made out of blocks that were there naturally and you just hadn't removed them, then you'd be fucked. And then the other thing in like the adventure update is now you have to eat food, and you can sprint, and you have regenerating health. Which is kind of funny.
That all sounds good.
Halo craft.
It's okay. The food is... the one thing that I really like about the food is the eating animation. Because you have it in your hand, like the traditional, whenever you're holding anything in Minecraft, it's just sort of sticky up at the side of the screen. And then when you eat it, you bring it in front into the middle of the screen, and then loads of particles come off and it goes... It disappears. Which is actually kind of cool.
Does it play an awesome sound effect?
No, unfortunately no sound effect.
So it's not like... No.
See, I don't understand, going back to Deus Ex briefly, I don't understand why they didn't have a heavy sandwich-style animation for the Cyber Boost energy bars.
Or any
should
of
have
the
cut
food
to
or
third
drink or
person.
anything.
And just go, no.
That would have been really annoying though, because you need to use those like instantly, really.
That's true, but still, it's just a missed opportunity for comedy.
There could have been another one of those pauses the game cutscenes though, like...
Yeah, exactly. Everyone shoot you, suddenly the game world pauses on. Eat a Mars bar.
Yeah,
with a dramatic spinning Matrix-style camera.
Man, that guy's cool. Anyway,
so that was Minecraft, I guess. I don't think I really did. I mean, I built some shit, and I was starting to try and work out how the fuck to like use redstone wire and stuff because I've never done it before.
Oh, Stephen's the expert. You should ask him. He knows. You should see that bloody ramp that he built for Thunderbird 2. It's fucking insane.
I wanted to use pistons, but the trouble with pistons is that you can't really use them that easily because you need...
No.
In order to make sticky pistons, you need like slime balls, and slimes only spawn incredibly rarely.
Right.
So those are virtually impossible to get. Yeah, so if if it's in creative mode or whatever, you can just get, or hack the inventory and put in as many as you want. But to actually legitimately get them is a pain in the ass.
And do they have any much use, like, legitimately, in a normal game?
Well, I mean, normal pistons, not really. It's like the sticky pistons are the ones that are actually useful. Because if you want to, like... When you push a block with a normal piston, it pushes it, and then it just leaves it there. When the piston withdraws, which is why you need the sticky piston. You need to be able to grab that block and pull it back.
So hang on, I mean, maybe I'm missing something here. My mind is sort of going, so what is actually the fundamental difference between adventure mode and just normal mode?
It's not adventure mode.
It's just an update.
It's an adventure update.
Oh, I see.
Which is their branding for, like, we've put interesting things in the world for you to see now, rather than just being landscape.
So are there these villages there with no inhabitants?
There's supposed to be, but I haven't seen one of them yet either.
Okay.
And the fact that there's no one there also makes it kind of pointless.
Yeah, pointless for the time being. But
lots of building materials to steal.
Well, yeah.
It's true.
Kind of dumb. Although, to be honest, I got enough shit out of the mine shafts. Because when I found one of those abandoned mine shafts, it was like, wow, I can get so much goddamn coal and iron because it's just all in the walls. It's like mining, apart from without having to ship for all that useless rock.
Because you've already got a tunnel.
So have they added things like proper bro spawning yet? Or, so if you're playing a multiplayer game, you don't have to...
You can set your spawn point by sleeping in a bed.
Okay. I was wondering if they were going to do like, bro spawning, so you actually spawn near your...
Well, they have that teleport command for the admins, don't they?
Yeah, I know, but it's a bit... shit, isn't it, to have to type a command to get back to the action?
Well, ideally you don't die, so...
Oh, ideally, yeah.
Just avoid dying. So that was Minecraft, I guess. And then there was another game.
That happened.
Yeah, and hasn't happened sufficiently. It's the same problem. The thing that is always ridiculous to me about Minecraft at the moment is like this 1.8 update came out for the first half of the adventure update, and then there's going to be this 1.9 update that will be the other half of it, and then the fucking game is meant to be finished in November when it comes out on Xbox. Like, this is clearly not done.
No.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Microsoft. It's like Microsoft.
Don't they have that cert process?
Yeah,
they're in the middle of it.
It's like did Microsoft know what they were fucking buying?
But there's that indie game that is basically a complete and utter rip-off of Minecraft that's a sale on
yeah, but
the Xbox. I was trying to think of the acronym for it, but whatever the indie,
yeah.
XBLY, let's call it that for now. Which is actually doing insanely well for itself, and it's like, we better hurry up. This dude's stealing a thunder.
Yeah. It's not as complicated as Minecraft, obviously.
No, it is a simple version, but it's a version nonetheless.
But it's like, what is Microsoft's plan with? I mean, obviously,
are they publishing it then? Other than it being on Xbox Live?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hmm.
But it's like, what is
to be fair, Mojang could probably publish it
Self-publish,
themselves with digital distribution like that.
money.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of like Minecraft was like, even after it was released, it was going to be updated or whatever.
Yeah.
And Microsoft always has problems with that shit.
Yeah. Wish they'd fix that. Maybe they will for the next console.
Maybe this is the one that they're going to do it, where they're going to say, now we've made a system that this can actually work with. We're testing it out on this shitty game, so it don't matter.
We shall see. We shall see.
But yeah, that just seems really dumb. It's like 11th of November or something. There hasn't been any updates for Dwarf Fortress for ages.
No, it's been a while.
Are they He must be sitting in that room wherever it is.
Yeah.
Just working on some shit.
He's been working on like the whole undead thing for ages. Like all zombifying and wear everything, of course, because it's Dwarf Fortress.
Wear everything.
So you can have wear any animal you want. I've turned into a were guinea pig. Fuck.
There was someone on the train talking about were bees. Little girl.
That would only be cool if, like, when you turned into the were form, you turned into lots of bees.
Were buddies.
Like a cloud of bees.
Yeah, like a cloud of bees. Not just one giant fucking bee.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
I don't know.
Well, vampires turn into, like, more... Do they turn into more than one bat?
That depends on your...
Multiple bats.
That depends on what fiction you're going off, I guess.
That's true.
Some
They
days
don't
they
use
turn
that
into
one
one
very
bat.
often, do they, these days? In all the modern
It's not fiction.
Yeah, in reality, they do turn into lots of bats, you're right.
Yeah, but in Twilight they don't, do they? Or
In Twilight, they're
sparkle.
barely vampires at all, so whatever.
They don't have bat powers.
Or what? True Blood, they don't turn into bats. What other
Maybe they just
vampire?
haven't yet.
In
Q
Buffy
nose
the,
explosion.
in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they didn't turn into bats. In fact, bats generally gets dumped as like the first thing.
Well, yeah.
It's like one of the coolest things about vampires is they can turn into bats and fly away, and yet they don't use that.
And
part of
predict
it.
betting results, it seems. Monster. Do you remember that Fast Show sketch? They turn up into the rooms and go, 10-1 at Chepstow. Monster.
I heard the Fast Show's coming back.
What?
Yeah,
I think it already had once, but it was shit. So,
yeah, we'll see.
remakes
I
like
don't
that
think
always fail.
No, I don't think it came back properly, did they?
Well, Shooting Stars remake didn't fail.
No, it's
I
awesome.
don't like that much.
Oh, Angelos Epifemu wins.
No, he's shit.
Oh, I
Nothing
like
can
Angelos.
beat George Dawes, so basically they were fucked from the start.
No, Angelos is awesome.
No, he isn't.
I like Angelos.
They had George Dawes and Angelos for a while, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because George was...
1942, I invented the shoe. 1942. Yes.
See, that was still good.
That was great.
So anyway,
I do like the Angelos Variety Showcase you've got to like, though.
sort of.
Put cream down your pants, do a dance, and pull out some cheese.
That was rather predictable.
I know, but it's still awesome. Or they put a dog in a kennel, pour some bleach in the top of the kennel, get a light-coloured dog out the other end. It's just the bizarreness.
It was
And I
more
like his rig. How it dances.
the Pistons.
Yeah. Control your rig, Angelos. Control.
So then the third game
Yeah.
that also I played, I just randomly purchased that Blocks Ladder game.
Now, what is that?
It's a weird puzzle platformer.
Sounds right up your street.
Yeah,
Shit
exactly.
in my drink.
Of course there is. We're
We're outside.
There's like bugs and shit.
Of course there is. We're outside.
Oh, outside sucks.
So yeah, I was playing this Blocks That Matter game, which is this weird puzzle platform where the mechanic is basically you have your like platforming element, and you can like pick up blocks out of the
Pick up
world.
parts.
Pick up parts. You can
Anyway.
pick up these blocks out of the world, and then you can only you can put them back into the world to like build platforms and stuff, but you can only put them down.
Trine style, sort of.
Sort
in
of.
boxes. Or Minecraft.
but you can
Or
only-
Terraria.
Well, yeah, it's a lot like Minecraft, really, or Terraria, 2D.
Yeah.
You can only put them back into the world in groups of 4 in Tetris shapes.
Okay.
So you have to make
Literally
Tetris
the
shapes.
Tetris shapes.
Well, because it's groups of 4, so I guess automatically the Tetris shapes.
Yeah, okay.
So you can only put them back in groups of 4, and then there's like the different kind. It's basically similar to Minecraft in the way that like rock blocks and like wood blocks and stuff stay where they are, and then sand blocks fall with gravity or whatever.
Right.
In the Minecraft physics style, and it also has the other elements of Tetris where if you have 8 or more blocks in a row, it's horizontally, you can destroy them.
Oh, cool.
So it's like this weird puzzling game where you have to navigate through the environments.
What's it called again? Blocks That Matter.
Blocks that matter.
Ah.
And if you find the hidden chest in the level, you unlock one of the blocks that matter, which is like just a little picture that shows a game that had blocks in it. It's like, here's the block that represents Tetris. Here's the block that represents Minecraft. It's a creeper head.
Oh, cool. So it's an indie game with all these references. and
Well, yeah,
stuff.
the whole story of the game is basically a reference. Where like the intro movie is like, here we are in Sweden, the home of the indie games, and here's these 2 guys. It's
One
true,
with a
though.
beard.
Well, it's like, here's these 2 guys. One of them's called Alexei, and one of them's called Marcus, and they look very suspiciously like these 2 guys you might have heard of. You know, like the guy who made Minecraft and the guy who made Tetris.
All right.
And then they get kidnapped, and then their tiny robot has to go and rescue them.
Did they put in all these references just so that like Notch would put the link on his
Probably.
and then people would buy it?
Probably.
That's cool. We should use that for promotion of our Saladcast. We just need some reference to Notch or something.
We talk about Minecraft quite a lot. Maybe
Yeah, that's not
here's our
enough,
Minecraft page with all our Minecraft clips.
That's true. That could work.
Minecraft.
Yeah, I think
Can't
that
have Minecraft.
already whole Minecraft cast.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
them.
quite a few
And all the YouTube
channels.
things.
What's those guys that Stephen likes? What are they? The
Let's
Yogscast.
just do a
Yeah, the
Minecraft podcast that's actually about crafting mines in real life. You know, just to confuse people. So they
Landmines.
yeah, exactly. It's an underground mine in which we recover landmines.
In the words of my friend Nick, landmines are awesome.
This is bad. But yeah, so I played that game basically all the way through. It's not very long. It's like go back and get the chests that I missed, and then star the levels by bringing as many blocks with you as you can to the exit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being efficient or whatever. So yeah, it's a weird platforming puzzle game, and it's got a level creator, as you would imagine.
Oh, cool.
And apart from all those references to games that have blocks in them, where it has the things. Also, one of the musics has the same melody as one of the musics from Viva Viva. And there's a block that represents that in the game as well. So that was another reference. It's like, sweet.
That is
got
the right
five-
number of
so you got
V's.
five
V,
Vs?
V, V, V.
No, it's got 6.
Oh.
But I'm not-
VVV is 5.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say Viva 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 every time.
Why not? You said 5 of them. You're saving yourself about 15% of the efficiency of your speech by missing
Every
out
little
the final
gap.
V.
Also, it sounds better to
You
go
can call
Viva
it
Viva.
V, 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 V.
Just do what everyone else says and you go.
We don't need to talk about that any longer.
No.
So we can do whatever.
So,
And was that it? I'm sure there was the one that there was.
you've done like 2 SPAZmares. Oh no,
Well, 3.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
and-
Minecraft was the other. But then, I mean, there was the other sort of general shit, Team Fortress, and
What's going on in TF2?
people
Oh,
are still shit. Those
What,
goddamn
the
dudes.
premium dudes?
I do seem to have been bumping into more free to play.
The number of times where it's just like I've been holding up an entire team.
Yeah.
It's like I'm playing Scout and I'm top of the table by like 20 points.
It's a
Motherfuckers.
Does
I've
this
said
still
this-
happen on your Hampshire heavy set?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've said this before. It's a worrying trend if I'm top of the table. it's like that's not right.
Where are all the good players gone? They just can't get on or something.
Well,
slots.
they do seem to empty quite
I
regularly.
think we may have just been playing at awkward times where the
Well, I mean, playing like Saturday night. I mean, come on.
that's supposed to be like peak time, I guess.
Maybe people just have given up on it now.
Yeah.
Maybe they finally had enough. I never had
Team
enough.
Fortress 2?
No, it's probably just the heavy server. To be fair,
The heavy servers did have that big lagging spike issue for ages
they
that sort of
still
driven
do,
everyone off.
to a bit.
Yeah, it's not so bad, but they still have it.
Do you think Battlefield 3 will be a bit of a death knell for the time being?
Maybe. But it's a
different game.
Yeah, it's a different
Well, I
kind
know,
of style
but
of play.
I bet people will flip for a bit, or play mostly that for a bit, including us, probably.
I'm hoping the new Counter-Strike doesn't live. Actually sort of
Doesn't
right.
live.
You don't want that to draw people away.
I just don't
I
want it
think
to
it will.
exist, to be honest.
Why?
It's like,
What do you care? You're not going to play it.
No, I'm not, but it's like, it's crap. It's just...
Well, I
concede it.
think
It's
it's
a
going
mod
to be
game.
crap, so people won't like it anyway.
We used to play Counter-Strike and like it, and
I never liked it as much as the other stuff on offer, though.
No.
It was like a reluctant majority choice.
What other stuff did we play at that time when we were playing Counter-Strike Source?
1942.
Battlefield, mainly.
Yeah, but 1942 was already old. We were on 2042 by Source.
I didn't play Source though. We used to play CS 1.6 at the LGI.
Yeah, but me and you played Source though when it was on
we played
Steam.
Source.
That was pre TF2 though.
Yeah, it was before TF2, but it was definitely
Battlefield
2142.
That
I think we might. I can't remember whether that was before or after. I can't remember what time we played 2. We did play 2 quite a lot.
Yeah.
No, Battlefield 2 was during my second year of uni.
Yeah.
I used to play UT 2004.
We did play Battlefield
we played-
2 that
we-
much
we
because it
played
didn't work
Unreal
on
a
your
lot,
fucking
yeah.
computer.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, actually, I suppose the other thing we played quite a bit of was Quake 3 at those times.
Not online.
No.
No, not online, but LGI.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We did quite a bit of Quake 3.
But
yeah.
that wasn't
Team
during the uni times, though. That was
Yeah.
No, that was pro.
Anyway, nostalgia for our
for our shooting game.
our shooting times.
Bangity bang.
But yeah, Team Fortress 2 is still kind of dumb. I do like, on the plus side, if you can avoid being annoyed by the fact that it's almost always a total walkover for one team,
Yeah.
it can be just fun to completely decimate people if you're awesome.
Yeah.
I still love playing, like, Force of Nature and Sandman Scout, just to totally ruin people, where it's like, you're stunned and now you're going to chuck you up against the wall. It's like last night when the server was emptying and there was only, like, 6 on 6, and their team basically had, like, 2 heavies and a medic, and our team had some other stuff, but they were, and I was just like constantly going up against the heavies and the medics, and it's really dumb where it's
As
like,
a scout.
yeah, as a scout, I'd stun the heavy, run up and force nature him, the medic would just be healing him constantly, expecting the heavy to take me out, and then I'd kill the heavy while he was still being healed with like 4 force nature shots, and it'd just be like, that really should work, and apparently it does. Sweet.
And the medic's like, what the...
Yeah, exactly.
Run away!
So yeah.
Can't run fast in the scout, though.
But you can. I don't know why it is that I seem to be really good at that. Just bouncing people around with the force of nature and stunning them at the right time. I don't know how I got good at that. It's the same as Huntsman. I don't know how I got good at that, but apparently I am.
Do you knock people off the scenery with the force nature?
Not very often.
Do you use it up against walls?
Yeah. Or just to knock them back, really. It's like pyros, you can easily... Because you can... It's like when they run towards you, just before they get into flame range, you can knock them back a bit, so you can have enough time to reload and take another shot before they actually start flaming you.
Does that have that much range, then, for the knock?
Enough. It's like... it knocks them back just slightly, and then you're running backwards to keep that range.
Oh, I see.
Well, you'd run faster. So
Well, yeah, you run faster anyway, so you can keep them at
The
range.
pyros are faster than...
But the idea is you have to get close enough for you to do more damage, but then you don't want to catch the flames, so you're like trying to run up and hit them as close as you can be so you get as much damage as you can, but it also knocks them back slightly, so you don't catch the flame. But yeah, knocking people up against walls is clearly the way to go. Or just knocking people out of the way of other stuff, like spies when they're about to backstab someone, you just shove them out the way.
Yeah.
Although normally with spies, I normally get them with the stuns. Where it's like, that guy's running suspiciously directly towards the back of that heavy, donk! Just as he's about to stab him.
that is awesome when that happens. It's just like, ah!
So that was Team Fortress 2.
Because last few times we played, I've taken to playing a bit more scout as well, going through a phase where it's...
Well, it's because there's
seem
lots
to
of
be doing
noobs around, so it's easier.
Yeah, I seem to be doing alright at it.
Yeah. I haven't
get my
been...
scout skill up for once.
It's like I should be playing like Spy or something in that case and actually try and learn to play Spy properly.
You know what, that's true. We should probably just go all-out Spy attack against the noobs.
There aren't any scouts in the competitive loadout, are there? Or...
Yeah, 2.
Oh.
On the 6v6, 2 scouts.
Oh, right. What is it? 2 scouts, 2 soldiers, a medic, and a
Demo.
demo.
Oh, right, so I don't even allow heavies or...
Well, they switch out the
snipers.
heavies, engineers, or snipers when they need them for certain situations. It's not like they're disallowed. They're just not useful. You even rarely see actual spies in competitive, which seems incredibly difficult.
I suppose in 6v6 that's a bit of a challenge, but maybe...
It must be a nightmare being trying to be a spy on a 6v6.
I still love just the idea of Highlander, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Force one of each class, it's great.
It's a good idea in theory, but getting 9 people to be together at the same time, as we discovered in my Highlander experiment. Oh, and also I got the medal for that at last.
Hey.
I finally updated the inventories to actually create that medal, so I have my participation medal from that from like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah, more than that.
But that's not going to replace my Space Game medal.
Yeah. Because you fucking love Space Game.
And no one else will ever have this. Or they will, but I'm the only person who's going to wear it. It's like when I came onto that server and ate that fish cake, and everyone was like, what the fuck is that? Fish cake, bitches.
you can't
It's
pin
the new
multiple...
No, there's only
medals.
one MISC slot. That's
Well, they're
the trouble.
talking about
Yeah, they kept
changing
saying
that.
they wanted to put 2 MISC slots on, but
Yeah.
if that ever happens...
Well, I heard that was there's a screenshot from a beta version that shows that in the loadout screen, like multiple slots.
It just sounds like it's going to be a pain in the ass for them, though. Because it's like medals all attached to the same spot. So if you had, you'd have to like have MISC slots that define what type of thing is being attached,
or left
as well
or
as
right MISC or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a pain in the ass for them just to get that to work with everything. Then again, considering what shoddy work they've done with some of their unlocks up to this point,
Yeah.
like the Deus Ex glasses on the demo that just clip through the IU patch,
Yeah.
all that kind of traditional laziness.
Why didn't they just make it so you can use it for the demo, man? I mean,
Why don't they just make it so he only has one of them and it covers the other eye?
Yeah.
That would have been sweet.
I mean, really, they could have just made it just for the heavy or something. I mean,
Yes, but they wanted all the classes to be able to do it, because that's the one thing that actually looks cooler in that sense.
yeah, fair enough.
I actually got a drop of one of the Deus Ex weapons.
Oh, yeah.
The engineer gun thing.
Yeah, I got the engineer shotgun just out of a random drop.
That's kind of cool.
And I was like, okay, that's weird. I guess they're already in the drop table
Yeah,
then.
they were from the start.
What, even as soon as it came out?
Yeah.
Weird.
They immediately ended up in the drop table and the crafting list.
Well, the crafting list makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't know they were in drops. And I've got too many crates.
Yeah, I got too many crates.
And apart from that,
Everyone's got too many crates.
Fuck crates.
I finally remembered to cancel my e-subscription.
Again.
Again. which
Why?
only expires in, like, November.
Why you cancel it?
Because I'm barely playing it at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
So I
waiting
can't.
for something.
And also because of the ridiculousness of Monocle Gate.
Monocle Gate, is that what it's being called?
Yeah, naturally.
There's still Threadnoughts about it.
Yeah, it's still being a big fat retard. It's like they really haven't said enough yet. And like after they did their meeting and they said they were going to release the minutes or whatever. Apparently they
What with what was that? They had a cool name. There's Council of.
Oh, yeah.
the Council of Southern Management.
That's the one.
They were going to have this. They were going to release the minutes, but apparently there was a big disagreement about that, about the tone of the minutes.
The tone of the minutes.
Where it's like, we don't want this.
Too bassy.
So it's like
Monocle.
it's like there shouldn't be tone in minutes. It should just be a record of what was said.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of fucking minutes.
Oh, so whoever was writing the minutes was doing it in a sort of like sarcastic manner, and then this dude said some shit.
Yeah, exactly. So that caused a whole other bunch of arguments, and then so it's like the minutes for that emergency meeting finally turned up after like 3 months after it happened, which didn't really please anyone. And it was like, oh look, nothing is fucking happening you haven't made good on any of your promises. Although I had seen in one of the most recent devlogs that you released a screenshot that shows ship spinning. Fuck. It's like they might actually
I'm spinning. Fuck.
They might actually be doing what everyone was what they sort of said they weren't going to do,
that
everyone wanted. Where it's like they might actually be putting it in so there's a button to push to disembark from your ship to go into the walking mode.
Yeah.
Which they basically said they wouldn't do, but now apparently they might be.
Well, backtrack away. Do it.
Yeah, it's like, thank God, this might actually be good again. I can no longer look at this pointless door picture because I've got the stupid shitty car station bit turned off.
Massive door.
It's just a
Click
picture
to go through.
No, it's not even. It's just a bitmap,
Alright, okay.
probably, or a JPEG.
You need to find that file and change it for a backdrop.
Someone was actually saying
Wallpaper.
that in the forums. It's like, do you know if I could like open up some file somewhere and then change that? But it's like, nah, it's sort of built into one of their custom zip files or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I can just have whatever picture I want back there. That'd be much cooler.
Then you'd probably have to buy those.
That's true.
For like $70.
Yeah. What, you mean like the backgrounds for Xbox Live, except
It'd probably just be a background of a monocle.
That would be awesome. That would be great. So yeah, I cancelled my subscription to that, and then that expires. My actual subscription goes until like November sometime, by which point they'll probably be talking about the winter expansion, which will suddenly get me more enthusiastic about even. It'll be like, fuck.
And you'll just have to resubscribe.
Although on the plus side, I do have like 2 billion ISK in my account at the moment, so I can probably afford to pay some subscription time with ISK again. 2 billion. I'm fucking rich.
That was quite hilarious on the Bombcast where Vinny was asking whether he could trade his ISK for planets.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Trackmania, that just seems like a rip-off.
Do you think?
Yeah.
25 quid for the
It's quite a lot.
canyon.
For just a part of it, when you got the full game before for that money, really.
Yeah, and you don't know how many parts there are going to be to this one, or whether they'll even be that different, or...
And also, it's running the risk of of player-based segregation, which is a big problem for practically any game that attempts a sort of slow rollout or DLC
and
model.
servers.
Yeah.
It's a big problem for servers if you're going to have... You're going to have like Canyon limited servers or whatever.
It's like I had that problem, like, in trepidation of the upcoming Gears of War 3, which is no longer upcoming because it's out.
Right.
And I played a bit of Gears of War 2. And,
Multiplayer.
yeah, I thought, I'll give this a go. I realised I hadn't actually played Horde mode at all.
Whatever.
Herd mode. No, never.
All we'd played is like the Left 4 Dead Horde mode thing on Left 4 Dead 1. Didn't it have a Horde mode?
Yeah, it did.
When they put it in afterwards.
I don't think
we
that
had to
one.
just hold
Yeah.
out.
We only played that
Survival
like
mode.
once though.
The survival
It
mode.
was epic though.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. I do remember.
Properly difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried that for a bit, and they've done how not to do DLC in my eyes. Like certain playlists, you can't get on anymore because you have to have the DLC to do it. And so you select, I don't want to really play ranked. I just want to go into the social playlist and try Horde out. And it's like, no, you can't do that. Fuck. So, but if you go into a ranked list, then it's okay, so you can still do it. But at the same time, it's just a bit, what? You've decided to make the entire unranked playlist for DLC players only. Admittedly, all the add-on packs for Gears of War 2 are now super cheap. You can get the whole lot for 800 points, which is a bit of a bargain, really. But not going to do it.
No.
Gears of War 3.
Yeah, damn it.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
So I guess we should talk about that because I'm done.
You
I
done
think I
your
covered
section.
every goddamn game that I played.
Coolio. Well then, Gears of War 3, Rob's been playing.
Let's
A
do
bit.
that. In fairness, I'm going to keep this talk fairly brief about Gears of War 3 because I
Don't
haven't...
keep it too brief. I haven't got that much to say.
Well, no, alright. Mainly because I've only played, like, a couple of hours worth of it, to be fair. It's like, it wouldn't be good of me journalistically to go off on an epic spiel about how awesome it is. For like,
When it could end in like 20 minutes.
You've got that feeling, though.
It's taken me 2 hours to get most of the way through the first act, which isn't a bad sort of idea of, scale of time, really.
Is it difficult though? Did you die a lot?
I'm playing it on insane mode, and I've died not much, actually. Reason
So
being,
they
they've changed the
reconfigured
mechanics quite a lot.
Well,
I say quite a lot.
Of the
It's definitely
gameplay.
Gears of War, but there are certain mechanics that have changed that make a really big difference. For instance, you don't die immediately anymore.
Yeah.
Like the multiplayer, you get downed
Right.
in single player. And then your teammates can come and revive you, and you have a bleed out period, or you can get exploded or executed by the Locust or Lambent that are about. And it's like, so actually, death is not the end in this. It's like, it's more forgiving by quite a large margin. But I'm playing it in, the hardcore difficulty rather than normal mode, after the reports that apparently normal mode plays itself.
Yeah.
Because the game is now designed for 4-player co-op, most of your time is spent with 4 players. So there's 3 AI compatriots
All right. So
who
you
are
just
actually good. It doesn't suffer from Call of Duty effect, where your teammates are shit
Yeah.
and have absolutely no bearing on what's going on in the world. These guys are actually, they play a role, which is nice because it means, and it
That's
gives
cool.
you rudimentary attack this guy control as well. So you can sort of actually say, right, you guys, I'm getting fucked over here. You attack that bastard
How
and
does that
take
work
some heat
on the
off me.
controller?
You aim at them and click the stick. Because
Sweet.
click is very
That's nice.
unused in
I like
Gears. So it's click actually just now has a use, which is great.
That's nice.
And that works well. But it does mean I've survived more than I probably should have. In some regard, I can do something retarded and just get downed, and it's like, save me!
That's kind of cool.
But you still get exploded by explosives pretty much instantly. You don't really get downed by explosives. You just sort of...
And your main
Pile
enemy
against.
are the Lambent, and don't they just explode when you
Yeah,
kill
so
them?
so far I've not actually really... Other than the prologue, which is amazing, and it's even the prologue's great, which is, like, ridiculous.
Cool.
Your main enemy at the start of... during Act 1 is the Lambent, which have taken over, if you're not aware of the story. Blah, 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 blah. The supposed end of Gears of War 2 sort of
I didn't play
ended...
to the end of 2.
Well, they did what they were going out to do and sank Jacinto, which I don't think is a secret anymore. That they the last human stronghold is gone, pretty much.
Yeah.
You end it by exploding a Lambent Brumac, which is just retarded, in fairness, but it's quite entertaining. And then, in the 2 years that have passed since that game, the Lambent are now your main enemy, Drew, who basically just seem to be complete bastards. It's like, unlike the Locust that sort of had a plan, these guys just go out and kill shit. That's what they do. That's as far as we know, anyway, I suppose. They may be intelligent, but we doubt it, because it's all done by the emotion, the
So
stupid
what's the difference between
like
them-
fuel.
Yeah. That
Between
was really obvious.
the Lambent... Sorry.
Lambents explode. That's basically all you need to know. They die really easily. They can mutate into weird ass shit.
Didn't
and they
the
explode.
original game have Lambent Wretches?
Yes, they did.
And are they the Lambent?
No, the Lambent is now... Yeah, the Lambent Wretches are technically the Lambent, but they were only the start.
Oh,
was
I
the
see.
thing. They were like the first known Lambent creatures.
You
But now
didn't
you
have
can pretty
any
much...
other kind of Lambent Locust in the first game? or
No, I don't
second
think
game?
you did.
Well, second game you did
In
eventually.
the second game, you got
Yeah.
some Lambent drones and grenadiers and things, but in the in this, the Lambent are an entire race. From Act 2, to put this in perspective, in Act 2 of Gears of War 2, you come across that Leviathan thing that
The
tries to
worm
eat
thing.
up your raft, and you have
Yeah.
to get inside its grill and shoot it in its face, and all that kind of rubbish.
Is that
But
the
it was,
giant...
That was the thing.
Worm.
the worm thing that bites your boat, and you have to make it open its mouth, climb into its mouth
Yeah.
so it closes around you so you can shoot its shit things.
And we had such
Like,
trouble.
dangly bits.
We were having
Oh,
having a fun time trying to throw grenades in there.
Yeah, that was a bit
That's
tough.
in the
wasn't
first
it?
That
game,
was
right?
funny. Second game.
No, I think that's the second game.
Oh.
I think that's halfway through Act 2. In the...
I can't remember how you end up on that boat.
I might be all the way. No, sorry, no, you might be right. I think that might
it
be
was
the
in
first game.
That wasn't the first game.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
second game.
Where you were in a boat and it...
You were
Oh,
after
'cause-
the train, after the underground train rail system
No,
thing.
yeah, it must have been the
Or
second
airships
game,
or whatever
actually.
the fuck those were.
Yeah, the barges.
So what about the giant worm that you like have whole levels inside?
Oh, yeah, that was a Gears of War 2 thing.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know about that yet.
Okay,
But basically, to put that, well, the way I was going with that was an end of Act 2 boss.
right,
You fight a Lambent version of that halfway through Act 1.
right.
It's like, this is how much they've scaled everything up. Every
Right.
fight is now... The Lambent makes fighting a bit different from the previous games because they fight in number. Because they're easier to take down and more explosive and shit. And filled with yellow goop, which goes everywhere, which is pretty cool. It just makes the fights at the start of the game, they feel a lot more intense than previous ones because there's just more going on. And it's like, the game looks better and somehow keeps up with it, and it's just
I
like,
really
wow, how
like the
has he done
idea,
that?
the idea of the whole rebalancing of the difficulty. Because I jumped into Gears of War 1 the other day, and I think I chose hard. I don't know if I chose normal or hardcore, but anyway, I was surprised at how hard it is immediately. Like, not that, because I've made it all the way through to the end on hardcore on Gears, so I must have been able to do it at some point. But I was like, okay, this is level 1. I was like, oh yeah, I remember. It's a locust dude takes a whole clip
Yeah.
Just-
As I was saying, in the lead up to playing Gears of War 3, I went back to 2 and finished off my hardcore camp because I realised I hadn't actually finished Gears of War 2 in hardcore mode. It's like, I love this game. Why haven't I played it more? So I played it a bit more and finished it in hardcore. And it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like taking down a locust takes most of your clip.
And it's like, even in Halo, I mean, they have shields and stuff, but you can kill people with one headshot
if you're lucky. But there are some weapons where you still have to unload your entire clip. Well, I suppose it's the same balance, isn't it? The sniper rifle, you can take out most locust in a single shot.
That's true.
If it's well placed, but it will take an entire assault rifle or lancer clip to.
They just seemed really soaky in Gears, and
but in the same way, they're also more reactive. It's like certain enemies in Halo, don't get me wrong, are quite reactive when you shoot them. Like the grunts, they'll go "ow," or to a lesser extent, the jackals will sort of flinch. The elites fucking didn't; they were hard. But
that's because they're hardcore.
Yeah, they're proper.
They have shields.
Well, that too, but. The locusts, at least, have always had a bit of a reactive property, haven't you? Like, you shoot them in the legs while they're running towards you, and they'll stumble a bit, and they'll get up, and there's sort of like, or shooting them will force them to immediately change their cover and things like that. There's always been a reactive property to pretty much every enemy in the game, which is...
Even when shooting them forces them to jump over their cover more into your fire.
Yeah, that did happen a lot in the first 2 games.
It did, yeah.
I haven't seen that too much in this one.
But then they come around and flank you, quite annoyingly.
Yeah, they're annoyingly clever in places. Not if you just stand there waiting for him with your chainsaw up, but it's just like, I saw you coming. Ha!
That's true.
But yes, as I say, I don't want to spiel on too much about it. The thing that struck me was that immediately the graphics are improved, and I didn't think that would be much of a selling point. I mean,
we're getting to the end of the generation now.
Yeah, I didn't think there'd be much left they could do to get the Gears feel, but somehow they've pulled it off. It's subtle. The change, but it's nice. It's like the way light lands on the characters, for instance, is much nicer, much smoother. The way shadows move across Marcus as you're walking around, for instance, it's just lovely.
And it's still got that nice frame rate and the blur effect when you turn.
Oh, the blur effect. Yeah, that's a very good point. Actually, the blur effect somehow is even better. You know how like early gen Xbox games, the way the blur effect looked, it sort of looked a bit stepped.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that. It's like it's perfectly smooth, and it's like somehow that makes a world of difference to some of the action sequences because it just looks better. The smoke effects are better. The way things explode somehow is better. It's like everything about the book about the look is subtly better. Yeah, it's not like mind-blowing change, but everything is subtly better.
And like they're saying on Giant Bomb, it's not all underground in the dark anymore.
No, it's quite colourful actually.
Yeah, which is cool. I like that because it was always a bit brown out.
Well, it wasn't
quite Quake, but it was.
Well, no, it was almost the poster child for next gen games, though, wasn't it? Like Brown and Bloom.
That and Dirt, the original Dirt. Yeah. Would you say it's the best looking game on the Xbox then?
I was thinking about it.
Is it better looking than Uncharted 2? Not that that's on the Xbox. But I'm just saying, can it beat the best looking game on a PS3?
You know what, there are certain effects that are still a bit ropey in places. Like, weirdly, when shadows of that are part of the character themselves get cast on certain parts of them, it still looks a bit pixely on close-up.
Yeah.
In classic sort of standard shadowing technique thing. Which is unfortunate because the engine does make, quite, in the cutscenes, make quite good use of close-ups. So it becomes painfully obvious that the shadow tech still isn't quite there.
Yeah.
But, it's a good contender. I'm sort of, a bit of me is saying I'm quite reluctant to say it is.
Well, what would you say was close?
I don't know. From the early shots of Forza 4, just look incredible. To be honest, they're just stunningly real. Really,
I actually think Assassin's Creed Revelations looks pretty nice. I mean,
I don't know. Not sure. From the shots, I don't. If I looked at a screenshot, I'd think.
I saw some video of the city and markets and stuff. It looked quite nice. Anyway,
yeah, it's a contender. Yeah, and plus you get to play as Cole in the first act.
Sweet.
Oh, and there's a character that sounds an awful... I need to check this out, whoever it is, but there's an Australian lady who's in your squad at one point who sounds a lot like Fang from Final Fantasy XIII, so I wonder if it's the same person. Maybe I'm just generalising Australians.
Yeah, but... It's like the only Australian woman you've ever heard.
In my life. We'll just pretend the Minogues don't exist.
The Minogues.
Because you listen to Carly Minogue
all the time. I'm so lucky.
Oh dear.
Sounds like burning.
It does smell like burning. We're going to die.
outside, to remind you.
In case you didn't hear that lawnmower a couple of minutes ago.
I didn't even notice.
Children playing.
You were talking.
Yeah. Okay, lawnmower.
Should have brought my sunglasses. It's kind of fright.
Well, it is inconveniently angled directly at us. From
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
I'm angled away.
Yeah.
So as soon as it goes behind, it'll be cold.
Still got quite a while yet, by the looks of it.
So yeah, Gears 3. More to come. I will
Sweet.
get onto that, especially when I investigate Herd Nerd and potential co-op opportunities if Zach will actually play it this time.
I'll play it. It's just like, I didn't want to replay the old ones.
Well, we never finished Gears 2 in
Yeah,
co-op.
that was
do
really
that.
annoying. Difficult.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard.
Yeah,
We were only doing it in hardcore mode, and I've done that on my own. It wasn't like General Ram from the first game, which was friggin' difficult.
I do remember doing General Ram quite a few times.
It's
You
insane.
just run from one end to the other and
Yeah.
just shoot him over and over.
The
with a
annoying thing
sniper
about that
rifle.
is
That's all I remember.
it's so improportionately difficult compared to the rest of the game.
It's really stupid.
Yeah, and it's a shitbox as well.
Yeah, lame.
Admittedly, the end of Gears 2 isn't much better. You know, it's just Hammer of Dawn, a Lambent Brumac.
Well, that's lame.
And then basically you just point and shoot, and then it ends.
So,
But yeah, Gears 3. I've got two other big guns, really, that I need to get out.
cool.
Big guns, because one of them is incredibly relevant and recent.
it has big guns.
Well, no, it doesn't really have big guns,
Oh.
but
Wait a
It's irrelevant. Carry on.
Rise of Nightmares, I
Okay.
played.
What the hell's that?
For-
Because that's
Connect.
a big gun.
Well, it's recent. It's good for us. We don't really do recent that often.
Nope.
So yeah, I played Rise of Nightmares, which is Sega's new attempt at bringing back the shit horror genre. a la
Shit horror genre.
Well,
Oh, I see. Like
the House of the Dead shit
But
horror
what about that
genre.
House of the Dead they did for Wii with all the swearing? That was hilarious.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. What's that called?
Overkill.
Yeah.
House of the Dead Overkill. Which is
Dead
getting a
motherfucker.
which is getting a,
Dead motherfuckers.
which is getting a PS3 re-release
Oh, sweet.
for Move,
Oh.
which is with extra content and all kinds of shit. And
With extra swearing.
doesn't that still hold the record for like the most F-bombs in
I
a game
don't.
script?
Probably.
Even narrowly beating GTA 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. There's a lot in GTA 4.
It's just the volume of
There's a lot.
swearing, I think, and it has to be in the script as
Right.
opposed to incidental sound. Was
Yeah.
the way the record's based.
Fair enough.
And the protagonist, the black protagonist, at least like lollipops. I remember that much. But there's a random scene where they're just kill a load of zombies and they're having a bit of a fight, and he's just like, "Can I have a lollipop?" That's how awesome that game is. Yeah, but so it's basically Sega trying to revisit. But the reason I say shit horror is because it's not like they haven't gone down the same route as Overkill and by making it just over the top ridiculous. I think they've wanted to do that with Ryzen, but it just hasn't worked. It ends up coming off as dumb as like the House of the Dead 2 bad acting kind of level. It's like, he's an expert of the Genome Project. That kind of stuff. Oh no, it's an enemy. Grab her and all. I mean, the game practically starts if you're taking control of a French person who gets killed. It's just to set the tone. It's like, what the fuck? Let's get the fuck out of here with terrible accents. It's crazy, but yeah, it was basically their attempt at making sort of like melee combat version of House of the Dead for Kinect.
Melee? So you like chopping away with your arms or something?
Yeah, basically, the game is played by you pick stuff up by holding your hand out and picking it up, and then you swing it about if it's an iron bar. If it's a knife, you can swing it.
It's not that.
Well, no,
Swing
it
it
depends.
about.
The actions are all different depending on the weapons you have, naturally. So you have iron bars and you swing and hit stuff in the face with. You have like daggers, which you can do stabbing actions if you want precision strikes, basically, on certain parts of enemies. You get all kinds of other swinging.
Stabbing simulator.
And to be honest, a lot of the weapons are kind of the same, but in different variants. So there's machetes and ice saws, and I don't think there's a baseball bat. That seems a bit of a wasted opportunity. I want there to be a baseball bat.
A crowbar.
I'm not sure there was even a crowbar.
Oh, Gordon Freeman fail.
Disappointing.
But no one does that there any longer. That's
There was
weird.
a vase. You could hit people with a vase that didn't break for some
Yeah,
reason.
don't in Deus Ex, for sure. No melee. Anyway.
Fortunately, there's tons of weapons everywhere, so you can pretty much have your pick and choose at a lot of moments of the game on what you prefer to use and what type of actions you don't mind doing. But they all break at some point, which is good that there's lots of them, because after a while they break and you're like, I need something else. Oh, what am I going to do? Because punching is the most ineffective thing ever. It's like you have to sit there for like 20 minutes punching this one zombie. Like, get the fuck off me. I have to say, the controls are intriguing, actually. Outside of the fairly obvious sort of combat mechanics.
So on rails then or something?
No, this is the
How does it
weird
work?
thing. I think to a certain extent, I think the game might have been better if more of it was on rails.
Right.
Because the control scheme can be a bit awkward, and it is painfully slow to make up for the awkwardness.
Right.
So you don't move very fast. The way you move is you stand in front of Kinect, and it thinks you're moving forward when you turn from your starting position, take a step forward. So while you're in that one step forward,
I see.
you're moving forward. And then to turn, because it gives you the freedom of turning as well, you have to twist your torso.
Okay.
So it's a bit weird, and it doesn't always get it right, which is a bit of a shame. Especially because the walking backwards control is from your starting position, take a step backwards, which sometimes it gets confused and just thinks, because the pose, if you think about it, about which leg is forward and back, is kind of the same, but because it tracks it from your starting position, it sometimes gets that wrong and thinks you're going forwards, which is really annoying if you're trying to back away from something that's about to explode. It's like, I've just kicked this glowing zombie in the chest. Oh shit, that glowing zombie is glowing quite a lot more. I might want to get out of this scenario.
Run towards!
Like, give me some of your glowing goodness.
Splat.
Yeah, so it's a bit awkward in that, but to go into combat mode is fairly easy. You see a zombie you want to kill, you put up your dukes, and then it goes into focus mode, which means that the game is now doesn't let you turn, and it's like, right, I'm focused on this bad boy. He's going down. Yeah. It tries to mix it up as well with the combat, like certain enemies have weak spots, so you have to hit them from a certain angle and things. Although zombies aren't really zombies in this. They're not like the undead, they are reanimated by mechanical means, so they will have like clockwork parts and shit. Yeah.
Okay. Who's putting these clockwork parts into people?
Some evil doer in the mansion who, for some reason, kills a lot of people right in front of you just for kicks. You know, there's a dude at the start who's just lying on a table, and there's this, you know, in the classic ceiling of Spike's fashion, just comes towards him. He's like, going, "Kill me!" And then he's like, "Oh no!" And it's like, "No, wait, what did you say?" And then but it doesn't just sort of go. It's not like very slowly goes.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you walk into a room only to see a tripwire go off, and then you electrocute a dude in front of you, and it's like, my man. And you don't really care, it's the weird thing. You're just an average guy who's like an accountant or something, and you're like, don't care about all this death, I just want my wife back, bitches.
Because accountants don't care about like, normal people, just people they know.
Basically, the story was okay until like about halfway through the game, you then start to go, is this all you've got, really? It's like, the mechanics don't really seem to go very far. So the story pulls out a typical Japanese what the fuck at this point and starts making no sense whatsoever. It's like, up to that point, there's a sort of like trail of what's going on. But then it just goes, well, for instance, alright, spoiler territory, if you're really interested in playing this.
Which you shouldn't really be.
Not, it's a rental, seriously.
Yeah.
Not a purchase. But yeah, if you do decide that but there's one point basically where you get captured by a guy that you saved by taking his head off a dog and putting it on his actual body.
What?
Of course.
You mean a dog had it in its mouth or something?
No. The dog had the head of the butler, basically, who then backstabs you to save his master, naturally, and feeds you this weird parasite thing, which then puts you into the body of what was the big bad guy who was walking around, who your only defense was to not make him see you up to this point. So you just become that guy, and it's like, oh, okay, this is a bit cooler, slightly different mechanics.
Okay.
You have like chains on your hands, which you can whip around and hit people with, which is different. So the game takes a different tack there. But then it's like, in order to regain your normal body, for some reason, because, you know, your normal body is okay for some reason with someone else in it, because this parasite did something. Like swap minds or something bizarre.
Okay.
You have to enter the dream world, which happens when this, like, fortune teller gives you some drugs and shit, and then you enter the dream world and kill the bad guy in the dream world, which gives you your body back for some reason. Yeah. None of that is explained, it just sort of happens. And then you enter another dream world with floating islands to face that guy's wife, who turns out to be the end boss. What? With faces coming out of a giant mushroom thing underneath her blouse. It's just utterly bizarre. Yeah, exactly. But that's all the explanation you get for the story at that point. It's like, right. Oh, and there's some talk about the babe. Your wife is pregnant, but you don't know that at the start of the game. And then it turns out that they think it's something to, like, there's some life force in it that they keep referring to as Ojibungo or something. And again, that's not explained either. It's like, we must save the Ojibungo. It's like, you're like, what? What the hell is this?
It's the rise of a nightmare.
So, I basically played through the entire game in 5.5 hours in a single evening. There is very little replay value, because there is a harder difficulty level, but I'm like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I've discovered the most awesome thing in the game, which is bone shears, because it's basically just do a shears action and everything dies. which is crazy entertaining for some reason. And a survival sort of mode, which is like insanity difficulty, but in like really quick, endless spawning scenarios. You have to try and just make your way through the zombies to a certain point, and it's basically just they're not even special areas; they're just rehashes of the story areas. And it's like, for replay value, not good. The problem I have with it is that, like a lot of Kinect games at the moment, just doesn't justify full price. Not by a long shot. If it was a budget title, like at half the price, potentially.
So did you buy this full price?
No, I had it on loan from someone I work with. I didn't buy this. I don't want to be tainted with its nightmare.
Now you have achievements.
Yeah, now I do have achievements. Which is... Actually, my one playthrough annoyingly only got me like 350 points worth of achievements, and I don't know what the shit the others are. Most of them. It's like, damn. So I'm stuck with like another one of those games that I can't or don't want to get many more achievements for, so it pushes my average down.
Yep.
But yeah, it was worth playing. Just it's strangely a good implementation of Kinect controls, but the game itself just isn't polished enough to warrant it. The graphics are crap, but they run at 30 frames per second, and it should run at 60 for that kind of fidelity. The acting is terrible. There's a British person who plays a psychiatrist, obviously, who's
Of course.
who's like a Bayonetta-like sexy chick. It's like,
Right.
which makes no sense at all.
Bayonetta's kind of supposed to be British, isn't she?
Yeah.
Sort of. In a kind of strange way.
There's French people going to a rave, you know, and German dudes, and you know, it plays every cliche in the book, really. Sort of soldiers that have no point in the story at all, just to look remorseful at the start. And it's just filled with nothing, which is bizarre. So yeah, play it if you're intrigued. Do not keep it. Sorry, Sega, you can do better.
No, they can't.
Well, House of the Dead was fun, at least. This sort of wears thin.
That was
the
only
Dead was
focused as
20
a
years
gun
ago.
game.
Yeah. House of the Dead is still fun. And you can laugh at most of the script, rather than this, you're just like, what? This is just shit. You know, it's not even funny shit. It's not like Garth Marenghi.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, so there's my review of Rise of Nightmares.
Bits of sick.
Shows potential. They could do another one, maybe, if they sort of, like, expanded the mechanics a bit.
It's
What
not going
was
to
the
sell,
other
though, is
supposed
it?
big gun then?
Child of Eden!
Oh yeah,
Frickin'
actually a
Child
big
of
gun.
Eden.
Literally a big gun. You are a big gun, or and a smaller gun.
Yeah, pretty much. Play as a big gun.
So, I haven't played too much of this. I played a couple of hours worth again on loan.
You're really excited
most of
about
it.
this, originally.
And yeah, I will buy it eventually. So there's my sort of like, after 2 hours of the game, I will own it. I know that much of it. It's great. It is res.
Mhm.
By
It's
no
res.
argument, it is exactly res.
Man, I like Res.
But I'm struggling to find the words of what I want to say for it. There's something just beautiful about that game. It's amazing to look at, and the sound is fantastic. I mean, the way I try and describe the sound is it's more. There's less of a tone, a tune almost, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to the music, which I'm not sure I like so much. You know, it's harder to get the. Most of the soundtrack, I don't think I could listen quite so easily on its own as you can the Res soundtrack.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you have more of an impact on the sound.
that's cool.
So
That wasn't as much as it seemed in Res.
No, I mean it's more in Q fashion. Like more of the bad guys make more and varied sounds.
Yeah.
And now because you have two weapons, you have two options of sound as well. So your tracer often makes more sort of little hits, like an extra hi-hat layer to the track or something, whereas your main guns do like the synth stabs that they used to in Res, and so there's a sort of extra layer. And some of them, they've changed the mechanics slightly, so you have to use the tracer like in Panzer to shoot down bullets. Certain enemies can only be weakened by the tracer before you finish them off with your main gun. and things like that, which all adds to the experience. And sort of like there's a bit of mechanics to it. There's some oddities in that you can look around more than you could because you're now in the character. You need to look around more because your field of vision is slightly less. Because it was third person in Res, which is a bit irritating to me because some bullets can come in slightly off camera, and although there are HUD elements to sort of say that there may be bullets in this general direction, go look that way, it can sometimes be a bit awkward using Kinect at least to try and push the camera in the direction of where stuff is coming and then get your tracer out to
they
kill
need
them.
like an eye tracking situation going on or something.
Perhaps, yeah. So the looking is a bit awkward, but as I say, the game looks like the entire first level is basically a tribute to Res. So it borrows a lot of the themes, like the end boss of that level borrows from the level 1 and level 3 bosses from Res.
The best Res boss is the running man. That's the coolest one.
Oh, that comes back at the later level.
Cool.
Actually.
Which are there. And they're only part of that level. They're not the boss, which is great. The levels are much longer. A single level will take you, on average, about 12 minutes.
That's really cool.
So they're quite nice experiences. So the whole game is a bit longer than it was before.
It's a full game.
Yeah.
Well, not that Res wasn't a full game.
No, it's still short.
Yeah,
I'll get to that. It's still short. Very short.
Okay.
But the levels at least are longer on their own.
Yeah.
I'll say the first level is just you got enemies that look a bit like the ones from Res. There's patterns in the background and stuff that look a bit like the areas from Res, which is nice. So that sets the tone. And then it goes off and it sort of like goes more towards its sort of evolution concept. So it takes like the idea that Res had about Area 5 in the game, where it sort of goes through the evolution of species and stuff, but this Child of Eden splits those up into levels.
Right.
So the second level is like microbes and underwater stuff, whereas on the third level you then burst out of the water and start taking on birds and shit. And the fourth level is like human progression and things like that. So suddenly the entire game takes a very different theme shift and goes all mechanical and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
It's like it's constantly surprising, which is really cool. Some of the stuff in Act 4 is fantastic, like in terms of the visuals and what they've done. I'm trying not to spoil it because you do have to see it for yourself and be part of it. Which I suppose leads me to I haven't played through the entire game because I'm kind of saving the ending for myself for when I own it, and I'll do the whole lot again.
Yeah.
So what I will talk about is the controls.
Okay.
And everything that has been said about Kinect making the game better, I can sort of agree. There's two very different games depending on the control scheme. When you're playing with Kinect, some of the actual mechanics are a bit harder because of your hand actions not being as precise as a controller. But at the same time, you do get more immersed. You sort of zone out from what's going on around you somehow and just become in it. And it's like you're not done until you finish the level. It's strangely cool. But
You're not done until you finish the level. That is a classic football manager quote, that is. It's hard to play football without the ball.
It's all about scoring goals.
But you know what I mean? You do sort of switch off. You're not like...
Try and think of things that make us swim faster.
But the point I want to make, the contrast of that is you get the controller out and you're back on the sofa and you're not... I don't know, there's something different you feel after playing with, especially after you've just played with Kinect and your arms got tired, for instance. You sit back down, pick up a controller, and you go, I'm not nearly as connected to this as I was just a second ago.
Connected. Pun.
Accidental. But it's a very different game with the controller. Not that I'm saying it's any worse with the controller.
Yeah.
It's
fun with the controller.
It's still fun, because it's a different game. You can do more with the controller, and it almost makes the game harder, I think, in the sense that it's easier to aim at the things you want, and you don't have to use because you don't have to use a different hand for each weapon, it's quicker to switch buttons and stuff, so you don't have to... Your reaction times are a lot faster. Yeah. Things like that. And, because it's not Kinect,
and you can turn and look
lag
with the stick.
Yeah. And because there's no lag with Kinect, you're just generally better, at it. Which is why the game even incorporates separate scoreboards. So the Kinect and controller experiences are segregated.
Cool.
Because they're different things. And it's with very little difference, really. It's
like two games using the same content.
Yeah. It's like buying the same game on two very different bits of hardware. But you get them both.
Yeah. But the game isn't very long.
The game's not very long.
No.
As far as I can tell, there's only 5 stages, and fuck all in terms of extras. At least that the game is revealed to me.
Do you think
There's a
it'd be
lot of
the sort
replay
thing
in the
where-
sense that every time you play a level, you can choose a reward which appears in the menu and does stuff that you can interact with in the menu screen, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's a little. There are a few complaints, and that it seems incredibly short, and it also doesn't make a big deal of the end of the level. It's like you face a bad guy, and when you killed it, it sort of just everything just sort of peters out rather than a sort of hooray.
Yeah, because you used to get that running at the end of Res.
Yeah,
it was quite cool.
Yeah, you got that nice sequence, and here you just sort of everything. The music sort of peters out into some sort of like tone, ominous tone, or something, and the stats just sort of fade on the screen. You go, oh, that's the end. It's not really a big enough hurrah, I think, the end of the levels,
Right?
which is a bit of a shame. You know, you don't feel like I've achieved that to a degree. It's weird. It's sort of that for all the rest of the game's immersive feeling to then just suddenly go, that's it. Oh, all right.
Because Res levels just build constantly to the end.
Yeah,
They
and the ending is always a dramatic sort of
Explosion of awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Which they could have done that. There's no reason why they couldn't have done that because these bosses still sort of exploded a bit or do something. But some of them, even the bosses, some of them just sort of like don't change. There's the end of Act 2 after you've fought the space whale has like a space
whale.
phoenix, which looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It has like particle effects of smaller flying birds that are everywhere, and it looks really nice. But the end of the level is just like, well, the bird's still there. It's just not got red dots on it anymore. Nothing happens. It's like that's a bit disappointing. And it's also I'm not convinced by the Lumi thing.
Oh right, the
know
first person born in space or something.
Well, no, I don't care. The story's fine, but
Yeah.
it's the over-reliance on her, I think, because there are certain bits where she just looks wrong. Like in the menu screens, for instance, she's there in the middle of the screen with an endless stare, sort of just staring at you. And because it's all been filmed and stuff, she's a bitmap.
Right.
And or a sprite, and the world is moving around and stuff, and she's just endlessly looking at your face in a sort of very creepy way. And it's like, she doesn't need to stand there.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it's that she's an interactive element in the sense that when you hold your hand over her in the menus, you get like an extra vocal track to the background music, which, by the way, is Heavenly Star by Genki Rockets, heavily remixed from like Lumines and stuff, naturally, because they're obsessed with that fucking song.
Yep.
It's a great song, admittedly, but enough, write some more stuff.
Well, they've got Lumines on.
Oh, yeah, what's it called?
Vita.
Yeah, it's got a weird name, hasn't it? The new Lumines.
Lumines.
Lumines, Lumines.
We call it Lumines. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's almost.
Is it
certainly-
Lumines? It's supposed to be Lumines, isn't it?
Presumably.
Yeah.
Lumines.
Lumines.
Oh no.
It's like minds of light.
Lumines.
Yeah, Child of Eden, really good.
You think it's the sort of thing where, like, in 6 months' time, you'll be in the middle of whatever crazy game we're playing at the time, and you'll think, I know, I'll just play a quick bit of Child of Eden.
Exactly. I missed. Because I've been waiting for Res on the Explar for an Explar sale because I'm still a bit against paying £7 for a game I already own.
Yeah.
But I can't be asked to get the PS2 out.
Yeah.
It's I still get those pangs for like, oh, I'll just have a quick level on Res, and it's like, oh no, wait, I can't. And it's Child of Eden. I could quite easily do that.
Cool.
Just I'll get up in front of it, play a 12-minute level. Oh, that's handy. And because you know how long the levels are, I guess, because they hit that sort of 12-minute target, you can sort of plan your time, which is quite nice if you're a busy guy.
Yeah.
And it's
Not like that.
You have 12 minutes to play a game.
yeah, I can fit in a level. That's fine. I suppose that's proper gaming compulsion right there, isn't it? I've got time. Must make use of it.
That would only be really hardcore if you were playing something like Meteors or whatever, where it's like 30 seconds. Snap it open, play a level, and then done.
Well, that works when you're waiting for a bus, and if you've got a portable system, then yeah.
I do have another big butt, though.
Same with Peggle.
Do you?
I do. I cannot lie. I love it. Again, even though it's great, I can't justify it as a full price title.
Yeah, but isn't it cheaper than full price?
No, not in this country.
Ah.
In America, it was released as a budget title, I believe, with a slightly lower price tag.
I think
Here, it's £35, standard price.
yeah, but how much is it really?
Well, no, you can find it in places for 18 as the lowest I've seen retail.
It's not so bad.
Which isn't so bad, no. But that's the rarity.
Mm.
There's only like 1 or 2 places I've seen that will do it that cheap, and that's their normal price for it. everyone else is trying to flog it at max price, and it's like, no, the game is way too short to justify that price.
Just don't buy it at full price. I'm sure it'll...
It's more like a live arcade game. I think it might have done better, perhaps, as in live arcade price range.
The funny thing is, you can say that for every Kinect game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Gunslinger's probably going to have the same problem.
Yeah.
The reviews are complaining it has the same problem,
Yeah.
that it's too short to be
It's an Xbox game.
to be a real full
But because
title.
it's on Kinect, Microsoft want to put it out.
Exactly. And it's
Not
a bit
that there aren't. I mean, the ones that are Xbox games that are Kinect are shorter than an Xbox game, like Fruit Ninja Connect. They're like
Yeah,
even
Fruit
there-
Ninja Connect
yeah,
is nothing, isn't
exactly.
it? There is no content.
So that's like the first Kinect game that's.
In fairness, you do get
Xbox.
Fruit Ninja with Gunslinger. If you buy Gunslinger, you get a free download pass
fair
for
enough.
Fruit Ninja. So you're getting an extra bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that ridiculous wavy tube ninja Chronicle Man extra, which looks hilarious.
That's the FMV game.
Yeah, you have to, even if you don't buy the game, take a quick look on Giant Bomb. That's freaking amazing. That is.
It was pretty hilarious. How much longer have we got left to
Ages.
talk about them?
We've got 45 minutes left.
Fuck, really?
Yeah,
Seems like we've been out here forever.
I'm serious.
Outdoors has that effect on people.
Yeah, the sun has been setting all this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got ages.
Drama.
So yeah. Let me just. You done?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's something else I want to say. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Just thought I'd inform you guys before I talk about Deus Ex, which is the only thing I've had time to play, really. You know, I did that thing where I went to BAFTA and saw Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
That was fun times.
Yeah.
Well, I've booked to go and see another one, and this is for Batman Arkham City.
Ooh.
A bit more exciting than the Duke Nukem Forever for me, anyway.
Yeah.
Although Duke Nukem Forever was quite funny. Especially when it red ringed right in front of me. And it'll be another Q&A, this time with the Rocksteady guys, I guess. So I will. That's next week. So by the time of next podcast, I'll be able to report on that. But do you guys have any good questions for?
We sure did last time.
Yeah, because the thing
What do you
is,
think of Batmaning?
Batmaning.
Have you
what's
not,
that?
I only discovered this today for a friend, but Batmaning is the new planking. It's like, instead of like planking yourself on a surface, you hang by your feet off a surface. It's all Batman.
That must be really hard to do. Like, without hurting your head.
But there's just that's some of the best shots, I think, from the video of it. We're just like, they're lined up against, on a wall, just all hanging, like 4 of them, just all hanging vertically down off a wall, and it's just like, what? And there's just casual people walking by. Going,
What the fuck are these guys doing? They're Batmaning.
they're Batmaning. Extreme sports.
Extreme Batmaning. Yeah. Because last time there was an actual sort of prize for whoever had the best question. So if we can think ahead of time,
What do they win?
like an Xbox or something, something good, or
Will
PS3.
Joker and Harley Quinn get it on? All right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Man, that's fucked up even by porn standards. Joker and,
I bet there's that Rule 34 probably applies in that.
yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like Harley Quinn is virtually Rule 34 even before
Anyway.
you do anything to her.
That's true. You could just turn up at Comic-Con and
I was
see
more
how
worried
many-
about Joker's mouth. I think it's terrifying.
Yeah, that horrible Chelsea grin. Mark Hamill's returns for the
His final
Apples.
performance.
his final performance as the Joker. It's kind of exciting.
Will you come back, Mark
So
Hamill?
he's got to die, basically.
No, they can't kill
Not necessarily, although he's really fucked up after the last game.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the plot. that
So
he's...
actually what's going to happen is they're just going to use that as an excuse for his voice change.
What do you mean? Why
Oh,
would
they're
his
going to
voice
damage
change?
his voice box enough so he becomes...
Oh, I see. So it'll be a different actor. No, I don't think so. I don't know what they'll do after this. They'll have to think of something else. But they're bringing in lots of... Obviously the Penguin, voiced by Nolan North, in a Cockney accent.
That's what I was going to say. I couldn't help but spot Nolan North was actually in Gears of War 2's credits.
He's in
playing
everything.
a very minor role. It's just like, what?
Nolan North is in every game ever
I
made.
know.
That's a voice acting part. It's freaking genius.
I think he played like one of the Raven pilots or something. It's like a really low, sort of like incidental role, and it's like they've got like a top grade voice actor into.
Well, he wasn't top grade then.
I suppose that would have been about the time like the first Uncharted was.
He is in lots
Kicking
of
about.
stuff, like, as minor things. Like, I think he just must have an agent that just gets all the video games.
I was about to say, yeah, it just gets maybe. Yeah, it's like I'll take any job, any price.
Yeah. Oh, genius. Did he do the voice for the enslaved character?
No, that was Andy Serkis.
Oh, it was Andy Serkis, yeah. He wasn't in that, yeah. Yeah, they've had
Too much like Uncharted in some ways.
Yeah. Uncharted 3, exciting. I'm going to have to come over and play that at yours again because I'm not going to have a PS3. It's like next month, isn't
Unfortunately, you could drive at that point.
Hopefully, yeah.
In theory.
In theory. If I pass my test. 2nd of November, bitches. So that should be exciting. So yes, games I've been playing. Deus Ex.
Yeah.
So you know where I'm up to.
Sort of.
Vaguely. So yeah.
Have you noticed how much incredibly this is like the old Deus Ex? Like, oh look, one of those people you were talking to the whole time is a computer.
Yeah. Spoilers. But yeah. I mean, that was kind of
exactly the
obvious.
fucking same as Deus Ex 1, motherfuckers.
Why, who was in Deus Ex 1 that turned out to be a
Daedalus or
computer?
whatever.
Yeah, but that was fairly obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Oh, I suppose initially you don't know that Daedalus is a computer, do
No.
you? But he has a really garbled, weird voice.
well, yeah, but that could just be like
Bad
voice
reception.
masking on his. You know.
That's true. And it has a picture and it looks like a bloke, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His avatar thing. Yeah.
Because for some reason in this feature voice communication system it still has avatars. Oh, on your vision.
Yeah. The thing is that Daedalus is kind of a lot cooler than
Yeah, that is the
Eliza
thing.
Kazan. Because, like, Daedalus literally is the internet.
Yeah.
Like, he got created and then he
But
sort
then
of...
again, she's like the news.
Yeah, I know, that's the idea. But, like... Because she's a lot
so
like...
Daedalus is like what Eden is in Res, then, basically.
Well, Daedalus was designed to, like, analyse data and stuff.
And
but
that's
ended
what
up,
she does.
ended up escaping into the internet and becoming... So Bob Page created Icarus, right?
Yeah,
As
the old armor.
the MJ12 evil version of... And then they merged to form Helios, right?
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah. And Icarus just basically trolls you all the time. He just comes on and just says annoying things,
Yep.
doesn't he? Whereas Daedalus breaks you out of that MJ12 facility. I'm not even sure why he does that. He works with
Because he
with your
knows
brother,
everything.
doesn't he? And then he's like, "Fuck your brother, he's lame." And then merge with me. I am Daedalus. Oh no. By that point, he's Helios, isn't it? And Bob Page wants to merge with Helios.
Yeah.
But Helios wants to merge with you. He's like, "Fuck Bob Page."
Yep.
He's
Fuck the
lame.
page.
Yeah. So yeah, she's supposed to be like the news, I suppose. It kind of makes sense. I mean, it was kind of cool. I mean, that boss fight. Just to say, so second boss fight. My plan worked perfectly. I totally typhooned the shit out of that boss in like 2 minutes flat. I didn't have
I
to do
just
any
shot her and
fighting.
she just died.
It was
like,
really easy.
The weird thing about it was that I went and read some people were talking about bosses in Deus Ex, as they do constantly, about how shit they are and all that.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, people were saying that second boss was meant to be really hard. That she does some kind of attack which electrifies the floor and it kills you.
Because the floor is all
quickly.
watery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that it was all. I was like, why is there water in this computer room? It's like she's meant to do some kind of attack that electrifies the floor and it does super large amounts of damage.
I never saw that.
I never saw that, and I can't remember whether that was just because I had the dermal upgrade that makes you invincible to electricity at that
did
point,
you? Probably.
or whether I just killed her quick enough that it never happened, or something went wrong and she never triggered it. It's like that boss was the easiest. I just shot her.
All I did was I typhooned her once.
Rule number one: shoot the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
I typhooned her once. She was all wiggly and stuff.
Yeah.
I shot her as many times as I could before she disappeared, and then I typhooned her again when she turned up again. That was the end of it. But that environment that she was in was actually really cool. That computer room with all the water and the Eliza Cassan's sort of.
And then she
Quite
talks to you all the time to try and like tell you stuff, and I can't hear what the fuck she's saying because I'm just shooting.
Yeah, bang, bang, bang.
Like, here she comes. Yeah, I know. I'm already shooting at her. Shut up.
Yeah, just leave me alone.
Maybe that's to make the fight harder. You know, there's plot points in here. Don't kill her yet.
Do you think that under the building, the media building, the sub basement thing? Do you think that was supposed to be the
Sub basement? Below the basement.
Yeah, low.
The what?
The basement to the basement.
Because it's a secret basement, and you have to take that funicular thing down.
Yeah,
there, don't
right.
you?
Yeah.
Do you think that's supposed to be like that under your base? Not really,
No.
but just underground complex. That
Sort of.
I don't know. But that particular thing where you had to wait for the lift, it's like, this is getting
Classic.
a classic overused trope now, the cliche of
On
wait
the
for
other
the
hand,
lift.
did that happen in Deus Ex 1?
No, but it happened in bloody Half-Life 2.
Yeah, it happened in every other
It
game.
happens in virtually every other thing, isn't it?
Wait for the lift while enemies pour in.
Yeah.
Although they
But
didn't
of course
exactly pour in.
and you
it was
do
like
it-
5 guys.
Yeah.
The classic
like,
thing about
when you hit this button, enemies are going to know where you are. You're like, holy shit, I better set up defenses, and it's like 5 dudes.
So I set up laser defenses because
Yeah, exactly.
you can hide like there's like a tunnel under the stairs, and you can just block it up at both ends with the crates if you want. So
Yeah.
you can completely hide. You can reprogram the turret,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
what I did, and yeah, that was pretty
It was
cool.
totally unnecessary, because there was only like 5 dudes.
Yeah, I thought there would be a whole flood of them or something. That would have been cooler if it was like tons of them, because you had mines as well.
Yeah.
that you could
I
set up.
I set up like a gas mine and it killed one guy.
Yeah.
Or knocked one guy out.
Yeah,
And I think he must have spawned virtually on it. Because they just spawned out there
you
somewhere.
must do.
But I think he just appeared virtually on top of that mine.
And just-
Just got knocked out straight away.
The sections like that in games are generally really stupid because a lot of them have like defend the chopper or something until it takes off
Yeah.
style objectives or something like that, or defend the truck until it's fully loaded or something. And then basically, as soon as it was fully loaded, the enemies just sort of give up, as if they somehow know. It's like,
Well,
Oh,
at least it
this-
makes
this
more
stuff
sense
is-
in a lift.
this stuff has happened. Yeah, we'll give up now. It's just like, fuck it, we've got no other way of getting up to the top of this building. We'll just give up.
yeah.
And then could just chase him or use the stairs.
I don't think there's stairs that go away into that sub-basin.
No, that was a long way down, was it?
Yeah, that was a ridiculously long lift.
Funicular railway.
Was it a Mass Effect lift pause?
No, it wasn't a loading pause.
No.
Hidden as a lift.
No, people talking to you all the way down there and stuff. Although that happens in Mass Effect,
Yeah.
sort of. No, it was cool. Yeah. So I'm still doing the stealth thing, basically. I can't be bothered with, like, I don't care about being non-lethal, really. I quite like using the... But the thing is, I want that ghost thing for a lot of the objectives. That's what I usually try for, which is, like, don't be spotted at all. And the easiest way to do that is actually to be non-lethal, because you just use the takedowns. And the lethal takedowns make noise, so why would you use the lethal one, other than the fact that they can't be revived?
Yeah.
But it's like...
Or would you attract attention to confuse them and then blow the shit out of them from somewhere else? So wait for them to swarm in on the bodies and then go, aha, explode.
That's what you do normally.
Yeah, but if you leave a knocked out body in the open, then they will find it. Whereas if you just stab them, they'll hear you immediately, and they'll just run straight to where you are, won't they? Like if they're in range of the sound. But
You'd think sort of like the punching actions might be a bit louder than a casual stab.
Yeah.
A lot of the time they do seem pretty loud, where it's like, and all that kind of...
Yeah.
It's like, it's not exactly a silent takedown.
yeah, I'm sure that in reality, lethal. If you do a quiet lethal takedown, it's always going to be quieter than a non-lethal takedown.
Yeah.
Surely.
Even if you're trying to strangle some dude,
Well,
they'll
it's
be
like-
like some...
Because if you cut their throat, how are they going to make a sound?
Well, they sort of, well, no, but they
They
still
make
sort of make
goading
glocking noises, don't they? Like,
Well,
glock,
I suppose.
glock.
But, like,
It's like, unless the toilets are really terrible in this facility, and it's like, oh, the loo's backed up again. Glock, glock, glock.
it's like the lethal takedown, the non-lethal takedown that you see quite often, or like most often, I think,
Yeah.
is the one where you like grab them from behind and then you fucking break their arm and they don't even scream or anything. It's like if some guy just kicked my fucking arm and broke it, I think I might make some noise.
Yeah. It's pretty silly that they're so... Because he ought to do a Sam Fisher and sort of hold their...
Yeah, exactly.
And, although Sam Fisher does the ridiculous squeeze of doom that can knock somebody
Well, he
out.
does have one like that.
Yeah.
One of the non-lethal takedowns from behind is like
Yeah.
just grab them until they fall over.
Yeah. I was thinking about the guards. You know, you're saying the guards are dumb.
Yeah.
And they are dumb, but they're not dumb in the way they were in Deus Ex. They're more like in Splinter Cell. They're just like Splinter Cell guards. Just like they say on the Bombcast. Who turned out the lights? Who turned out the lights? Which is...
Well, if only you could turn out the lights, that would probably help.
Yeah. Although, yeah.
If there was some kind of other stealth mechanic than just being invisible.
Yeah, because Splinter Cell...
There's no shooting out lights, is there?
There's no visibility, is there?
No.
There's just sound.
You're either in their line of sight or not.
Yeah, there's no light meter thing like in... Because you could walk right up to someone in the dark in Splinter Cell, which was always hilarious.
Yeah.
But it always looked silly because they couldn't have made the game actually as black as that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see what you're doing unless you did.
Yeah.
Although you did have the goggles.
Yeah.
But when you turn them off, it looked like he should clearly be able to see you, because it's like...
It's like, what's this mysterious lump next to the shelving unit?
With these 3 massive lights on his head. Yeah.
I think everyone should be slightly aware after the first game. It's like 3 green lights means hella trouble.
I think I like Splinter Cell more than a normal person does, and I think that might be. I think that might be one of the reasons I like this Deus Ex, because I think it's quite similar to Splinter Cell in some ways.
Well, at least the sneaking is actually a good mechanic.
Yeah,
It's
well,
just the shooting, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't shot enough. That's the thing to
No.
know. I mean, I'm using my cloak to flick between bits of cover now. It's like, I could wait until he's looking the other way to flick between these 2 bits of cover, or I could just activate cloak for like half a second and go whoop, across. Which is always hilarious when they're right there. It's like, hello.
They should be able to hear you, though. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
there should be like some sort of slinking boot
Yeah.
noise or something. Like,
Transferring between cover should be silent, although I think it probably is.
It is silent, I think. Yeah. It took me a while to work out how to go slowly enough not to set off the mines.
Yeah, because you have to crouch, which you think makes you slow, except you have to hold the walk button while you're crouching to move even slower.
Yeah.
oh, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just go off anyway. I've had several times where I was like crouch walking up to a mine and it just randomly explodes. It's like, the fuck? I think it's sometimes if you transverse over a vertical step,
Right.
even while you're crouched, that counts as moving too fast.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuckers.
Yeah.
So they're motion mines rather than like depression or. Like,
They were in the first
contact,
game
you know?
motion, but they were like, you could literally run up to them in the first
Well,
game.
yeah, because
they
had
had
a
a
time.
timer.
Oh, I see.
So they went beep, 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 and as long as you got up to them, and what you had to do is
at them.
line your sights up so that you could run forward, and you
then
actually
just go.
Just mash them up.
yeah, yeah, that was cool. But I was a bit disappointed at first because I was like, surely I can creep up this mine, disable it, and then use it myself. And I was like, it just kills me instantly, even though I'm going slowly. But then I worked out.
There's another fucking button.
Yeah, use the walkers as well, and then you can do it like the original game, effectively.
But they're still pointless because mines are actually kind of shitty.
Well, you've got like EMP mines and stuff. That's
Yeah, well,
potentially
not that.
useful.
Well, I guess for robots maybe.
Yeah.
But you might as well use the EMP grenade.
Yeah,
It's like there's no.
that bit where you have
the
to
classic,
escape
like,
the hangar and you have to blow up the robots.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether.
EMP grenades.
Oh, I know. That's what I used, but I wanted that ghost thing.
Oh right.
I wanted not to be spotted.
Well, they won't see you if you EMP them.
Yeah, I worked out that if you press the grenade button from undercover, you don't need to aim because he'll just chuck it over
Yeah.
the thing,
Yeah.
like blind fire,
Yeah,
but with
okay.
grenades.
Yeah.
So, because if you looked up, then
You can
they'd
get all
spot you.
kinds of other places where those robots won't be able. Like if you hit them at the right part of their patrol. It's like I went all the way up onto the
Yeah,
walkway
I'd
between
gone
the
up
two
there.
rooms, and
Yeah.
then when they meet in the middle, they both turn around
Oh, do
before they
meet?
start walking apart again.
Can you get them with one?
Yeah.
Sweet. Should have tried that. Yeah, that's cool. I don't.
The mines are really kind of poofy because unless you're picking up mines that are just in the world,
Yeah.
you have to carry those fucking mine templates, and that's another 2 squares on top of the grenade that you have to combine into the mine template to make a mine.
Oh right.
It's just like that's just space inefficient.
Yeah. I mean, I've got all this stuff that I haven't upgraded my inventory yet, but I'm not actually using. Like, I got the pulse gun because I thought, well, this is
Awesome.
Like, it's awesome, but I haven't tried it yet because I'm worried they'll spot me as. I mean, does it just knock them out instantly in a row?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
It
cool.
hits everyone in the blast. It says sometimes it will knock them out, apart from as far as I can tell, every time it knocks them
Oh,
out.
cool. Okay, I'll try it more.
So if you get a group of guys, you can take them all down.
So if I just popped out when they were looking the other way and hit it, and then they wouldn't have spotted me by the time they were all knocked over.
Yeah. But of
Cool.
course, other people could still see it.
Find
Or
them,
whatever.
yeah, or like
Hear it.
cameras and stuff.
Because I don't think it's a silent weapon, like
Oh, right.
silence pistols or whatever.
Well, it is literally Sonic, isn't it?
Something
Sonic
like that.
blast. So I don't know.
So in a weird pulse.
Yeah.
Is there an awkward door throughout the entire duration of the game, like there was in the hotel of the first Deus Ex, where it's like, oh, what's happening
Yeah,
in
there
there?
is. There is a door at the end of.
Oh, is there?
I think it's in your apartment building. They're having an argument.
Squeak.
Well, I don't think
just
it's.
an
I don't think
argument.
it's. I don't think it's. They do. I think it's a reference to
Yeah.
some kind of sexual argument, but not and not actual sex going on at the time.
Yeah.
I love games.
Infinite sex.
That was hilarious. I love being able to close doors after me. I don't know why. It just appeals to me. In so many games, you open the door, you walk through it, you just leave it open like a bastard. In Deus Ex, it's like, I close it behind you. And in this one, it actually makes a difference because it changes the amount that noise travels. If you shut the door after you, it's less likely people will hear you.
That's clever.
Sort of. Although opening the door makes... people do notice
Yeah, people notice doors opening.
Which is kind of... I've quite a few times I've waited for a guy to walk past and I'm behind the closed door. I want to go around and knock him out, and I open the door and he hears it, which makes sense, but it's kind of annoying.
But they don't notice if the door is already open when they walk past.
No, they're not like...
If the door has been closed the entire time they've been walking up and down this corridor, and then the next time they come past, it's mysteriously open.
They don't even notice. Yeah. They don't go, who opened that door? Which is what they would do in Splinter Cell, I think. Yeah. That kind of thing.
You should be able to do that, like just walk up, sneak into the room, put something on the counter that is really out of place, and have them turn around and go, "Who put a bell in my tower?"
Who put the bell? and then sneak up behind them, stab,
and then hit them with a bigger bell.
Dong! Dong! Oh, dear. So, I'm not even reading. I'm hacking into all these computers. And there's these emails, and I can't be bothered to read them, because they're not as interesting as they were
a lot of them are
game.
shit. They're like internal emails and crap.
It's like trying to find the gold, but it's...
Presumably that's quite like if you're really hacking.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But that
presumably there might be more emails about cute kittens.
Yeah, there's no like image attachments in email, is there? It's a shame.
No. Yeah, you don't get your note log or anything either.
Yeah, that was so cool in the first game.
And I found that slightly annoying. Like, there was at least one time where someone had come over over the voice channel and said something, and then I wasn't paying full attention, and then I realised I couldn't go back and look at it. Yeah, like you could in the old one.
No, note log's a great idea.
But Deus Ex had one of the best ones, because it that preceded the important part of the email that you'd read or whatever. It said the door code is this. It didn't contain the whole email.
But the new one does that as well. It just filters it out, so when you walk up to the control panel and push it, it's like, this isn't code!
This is the code. Well, that's cool. They did that. I think that was in Splinter Cell.
But you still have to type it in, rather than it just unlocking.
I know, but that's cool. I like
I don't know. I wonder if they could have used that as a puzzle mechanic to a degree. Like, in certain places, it's like, well, there's several doors. They all need codes. I need to figure out which code for which door.
Well, yeah, any kind of puzzle, maybe.
But it is less annoying than the old lockpicks and multi-tools stuff. I mean, managing those.
Yeah, but it's just hacking every time.
Yeah, but the hacking's...
I mean, it's a good minigame.
It's a good minigame, yeah.
You could have maybe done, like, 3 minigames, like an actual lockpicking minigame or something.
Yeah.
Assuming that they still use locks of some kind in the future.
I mean, Splinter Cell had a lock-picking minigame that actually was picking a lock.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what ones lock-picking minigames have actually been, well, any good. Well, I mean, bizarrely, the one that comes to mind for me is the one in Perfect Dark Zero, where you have to... Admittedly, the device is a load of bullshit. It's a weird spider thing that attaches to the lock and changes colour depending on what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
But the actual control mechanism seems fine. You have to rotate around the stick until you find the sweet spot, and then when it rumbles enough, you go, okay, that's the spot, and then it moves on to the next.
I mean, I quite like the 2-stick one on... none of this would work on the PC.
Well, the two-stick approach on Batman, yeah.
Yeah, how does that work on a PC, Rob? Oh, you
just
did
played it with a controller,
yeah. So, there you go.
We don't know.
But that was kind of cool, the kind of way you had to tune it.
But it's like they made a nice hacking minigame. They could have made other ones, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they spent a lot of effort on that. I mean, it is a cool minigame, but yeah.
Apart from it does get a bit dumb towards the end where it's like, I've got so many nuke viruses.
Yeah.
Nuclear timing. Yeah. Or by hacking them, they're so high they don't even detect me by the time I've hacked all the way through the entire circuit.
Yeah. I haven't upgraded that enough. Obviously, but yeah. So I'm at the point where I've got back to Detroit and the riots happened, but I haven't seen anything else going on there. But it's
the invisible riots, of course.
Oh, you never see them.
If you walk up to the police barrier and look through, you can see the occasional, but it's not very many of them before it just seems like here's more clear street. Then when you actually go inside your office building again, you can walk down to the front door, and I'm not sure you can actually see anyone out there. It's like surely they'd be up against the glass or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invisible riots.
They
make plenty of noise.
They're the best kind of riots.
Maybe they're all augmented and they're all cloaked.
Bit of a traffic incident.
But I thought it was against augmentation.
Yeah.
All these cloaked rioters. thermoptic camo like in the original game.
What if it was against augmentation and the people and there were an augmented group of cloakers that were against augmentation saying, why did I get this shit or something? They could make their point by being a cloaked mob, and it's like, see how difficult it is to crowd control people you can't see.
Except when you pin them in a small area.
Yeah. And then when you do that's when you go into the convention centre.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Not really. That's a really annoying stealth mission. I don't know. I cocked that up somehow.
Okay.
Or maybe I did. I don't know if I bugged it up or whether it was just meant to be difficult. But it's like I found a route where I could sneak in, and then I got to the thing that I had to get to, and I did whatever it wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And then that was like a one-way route, and every other route I could that I could see to get out of this room required me to basically create a fuck ton of noise. And I was like, well, this is going to screw me up.
Oh, you got stuck.
Eventually I did, because it was like, basically you either open the front door of the room, which leads to two guards, you can punch through a weak bit of wall, which obviously makes a shit ton of noise and they notice you, and those were basically the only two ways out of the room. But eventually I worked out that there is like an incredibly small window of opportunity where the guards are just far enough away to open the door without them hearing it, and then they kind of bunch up again so you can do a quick double takedown on them. And then you have to like really quickly sneak around the corner and drag all the bodies out of the way before some other guys come.
Spot them.
It's like just barely managed to make it out there.
Yeah.
It's like there's this nice punch through the wall route, apart from it's too fucking loud.
Just had an idea for a cool weapon thing. Like, you, Deus Ex like a body evaporator. You kill them, and then you can, from range, you can make their bodies disappear.
That'd be a bit powerful.
That'd be way cool.
Wouldn't it be like a remote cloak or something? Like the knife from TF or something? You could like
throw a cloaking device onto
their bodies, and then people and guards would walk up and trip over them.
It's like, what was that?
What the hell?
Oh, I'm just clumsy.
What a daddy lie.
There's an email in one of the computers that references like a handheld cloaking device,
Right.
really specifically, and I'm like, are they trying to reference something? Is that like meant to be a foreshadowing of thermoptic camo in Deus Ex 1 or something?
Yeah, but that was a whole suit thing. Thermoptic camo.
Oh yeah, but it's like a handheld cloaking device. You should see this. We should get it. And I'm like, am I going to get this? I don't need it. I already have a cloak.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
I'm augmented with my awesome cloak.
So I'm not sure why that was such an incredible specific reference.
Well, unless there's like an item you can like use to in the actual game to cloak if you don't want to go down the augment route.
I doubt
choice. Have you read the Penny Arcade sketch comic about the Gabe's character in Deus Ex, where he's like essentially trained him up to be a PhD physician or something.
Oh yeah, and
then comes across against a boss. And it's how much of that do you think is true? Like if you
by that boss, quite a lot of it, because
the first boss.
Yeah, if you've been spending points to do hacking or whatever, you don't have enough points to be any combat.
Mm.
Yeah, you just need to basically keep trying that until you get past that, and then pretend it never existed.
That's a good rule of games. That is, it's like, we'll just pretend the shit bit didn't happen.
Yeah, but that is particularly in what is a good game. That is a particularly terrible bit that should never have been put in there. And if they just lifted it out wholesale, it would probably be better. Just remove that boss fight and replace it with an entire sequence, an entire FMV sequence, and it would actually improve the game.
But that was what that whole new story was about, where it's like the boss fights were outsourced to a sub company, which is why they're totally shit and don't fit into the story at all.
What the hell?
Like where these characters just come out of nowhere.
Come on, idols.
Oh man, that's bad.
That is bad. I didn't know that. Mysterious. Yeah. So the conspiracy is starting to come together, and it's just there isn't as many like cool, crazy threads of madness.
Well, it's because they can't. It's like I said, they used them all in Deus Ex 1, so they can't obviously use the same ones because it wouldn't work.
Like Deus Ex
quite easily have written completely new ones and completely different.
Yeah, but in Deus Ex 1, they used like every goddamn conspiracy ever.
Yeah, it's like the most sprawling mess of conspiracies.
Oh, what you mean they use existing?
Yeah. It's got Knights Templar, it's got Nazi gold, it's got freaking Illuminati, it's got Echelon, Intelligence Network, NSA, it's got the Roswell aliens. It's literally got everything just bashed together into this ridiculous.
I wonder if there have been any new ones they could run. Did they cover JFK?
But they can't use new ones because it's a prequel.
They wouldn't have covered 9/11 or things like that.
No, they wouldn't have covered.
Could have been quite a lot of. Or then they probably wouldn't dare to include conspiracy theories about that.
That's true. I think JFK might have been mentioned in Deus
Yeah, but
Ex somewhere.
that's too old.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know.
And that was probably Illuminati anyway, so whatever.
Oh, because the Illuminati and the Knights Templar aren't old.
Well, they're old, but they're continuous. That's the thing about them.
Yeah, the idea is that they've been in continuous existence.
They just pick gangs up like the Accuser and like say, well, they're actually
They use them
Well,
as
they
well.
used the triads, not the Yakuza, but they used the
yeah,
triads.
they did use the triads. What about ninjas?
Freaking ninjas.
Who like Just Cause 2. Ninjas! I hate ninjas!
Space pirates.
Suddenly ninjas.
Man, that'd be cool if they went to Japan and stuff. They went to
What they nearly do. Asia.
Asia. Well, they go to that cool, Hengsha or whatever. But that is like, it's cool, but it is just an analog for the Hong Kong
Yeah.
sequence. But
With exactly the same character.
but it looks way cool. It's very Blade Runner, but I like it. It's one of the best realized kind of futuristic cities I've seen in
Well,
the game.
it's a place where you actually have a reason for having a backdrop.
Yeah,
It's like Detroit is just like, here's some generic buildings.
Yeah. Detroit is not nearly as cool as Hengsha.
And when you go to Seattle, to the news building, and you're on top of the building, where
It's
the
not
fuck
Seattle.
is the... It is!
It's Montreal. You
Oh,
idiot.
whatever. Same place.
No, it's not. Montreal.
Canada.
Seattle's in America.
Yeah, but it's nearly in Canada.
Yeah, it is nearly in Canada. But Montreal is in Canada, and that's why you can't see the bloody the Space Needle, because...
Doesn't Montreal have some famous building as well?
Probably, but you probably scanned it. Anyway, but the game was developed in Montreal.
Well, yeah.
So they would know.
Well, no, that doesn't necessarily mean they wouldn't have clocked it up anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't, so corrections column.
It's not in Seattle.
It's not Seattle, you crazy
It's
fool.
millions.
I don't even know if Montreal is on the west coast of Canada. I don't know.
It's on the west coast, is it? I thought it was in the middle.
No, Seattle's on the west coast.
Is it?
Northwest.
I thought it was nearer to Chicago than it was to the coast.
San
No,
Francisco, isn't
it's
it?
on the coast practically. Because if you think just in terms of gaming,
Yeah.
Oh,
San
wait, of
Francisco's
course.
south, world in conflict.
Conflict. They have a coastal invasion into Seattle.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I forget. I
It all
thought.
makes sense now.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot. I thought San Francisco's north, but it's North California, isn't it?
Yeah, Northern
Like-
California.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the south, basically.
Seattle is in Washington State,
Yeah.
which is at the extreme
very top,
northwest. Yeah. It's
North
which-
Washington State is
yeah.
east, isn't it?
No, Washington DC is in
East.
east.
Oh, okay.
Washington State is the northwest.
I always get confused by that fucker.
Washington State is where Twilight is set, if that helps.
I'm sure that helps a lot.
Yes, I now know fully that. So it's basically Washington State is always in a blue tint, is it?
It's all lots of big trees and stuff like
The
Canada.
Democrats.
Microsoft of Washington.
Wait, are Democrats blue? I
Washington
can't
State.
remember.
Yeah, they
Yes.
are blue.
Oh, good. I got that right.
Boeing, Washington State. Twin Peaks was set in Washington State. Anyway.
Snow.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
Bung, 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 bung.
Where's that, Dallas? No, that is Twin Peaks.
That is Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Bang,
14 minutes. Oh,
bang,
fuckers.
bang.
Yeah, so
We could try my feature. Does anyone have any thoughts about my feature that we
You're
skip?
gonna
You forget about your feature as soon as we leave the podcast. So,
Yeah. Have you got any other questions for the Batman people? That's the other thing.
Seriously, can we get them to do a Batman?
It hasn't gone completely dark.
it's going to be
Yeah.
in 15 minutes.
I can still see pigeons.
What does that tell you about the the night?
I'm not a pigeon reader.
The visions of the night.
I don't think there's any like old wives' tale about pigeon flights to determine the weather.
I bet there is.
Pigeons die, lightning a fly.
That's a great rhyme. And that's also very useful information. Oh wow, that pigeon just got struck by lightning. I think there might be lightning around.
Are you sure it's not just a pigeon just dropping dead, like in the like a pigeon's wandering along eating some seeds, suddenly drops dead? Lightning.
There must be lightning about, or if you're just casually walking around and a pigeon just falls from the sky like a satellite. It's a dong.
Because satellites fall out of the sky all the time.
What that one is, isn't it?
Yeah, one
Is
has.
it? Oh, did it fall?
I think Pacific
Oh,
somewhere.
that's alright.
That's alright.
Well, there was no like. there was
Nobody knew where it was going to
There was
land.
relatively high odds of it hurting someone, which is
Yeah,
Relative. No one ever gets hit by
that
meteorites
statistic
or whatever.
was really badly reported.
I was about to say,
saw
how
it in the
it
Guardian.
changed so much, wasn't it? Because it was like, it's 1 in 100. It's like,
No.
it's 1 in 3,000.
No.
It's 1 in 250. There were so many different
The
figures.
Guardian reported it really badly. They said that there was a 1 in 3,200 chance of us being hit by a part of you being hit by part of this satellite. I was like, Well, there's 3,000 people in the Needham market. That means that there's a certainty that one of them will be hit by the satellite. But the actual statistic is there's a 1 in 3,200 chance that somebody will be hit.
Yeah.
So if you times 3,200 by the amount of people in the world, 7 billion, you get
That's still quite low odds.
you get the chance of it hitting you. But yeah, so that was quite badly reported there. Because they were like, well, you're much, much more likely to win the lottery not much less likely to win the lottery than you are to be hit by this satellite. It's like, no, actually, it's probably comparable or more likely to win the lottery.
No one was going to get hit by it. No one ever gets hit by anything from space, ever.
No.
Only a dog.
A dog got hit by a meteorite.
Yeah, that's the only known casualty from space debris.
Yeah.
Known to you.
Known to the internet.
Well, there might have been like people that just sort of died who like live in shacks that no one knows about, or like
But then that would be extremely unlikely as well.
Yeah.
That the one person who had actually been hit by a meteorite was someone in the middle of fucking nowhere that no one ever saw.
could happen.
Well, yes, it could, but
Yeah, you're more likely to be hit by, like,
lightning.
Pigeons.
something from an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, lightning's true, though.
It'd
Yeah.
be great if pigeons was a weather condition.
This
What's the
morning,
weather like? Well, I see some droppings on the floor. It must be pigeons.
Ooh, that was a really close one.
light showers turning to heavy pigeons.
Easterly pigeon.
Like sparrows turning to heavy pigeons.
Weather could be so much more entertaining.
If they just made shit up, yeah.
No.
No, he means literal weather, not the forecast.
Oh, right.
Well, the weather could always be more interesting. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. I'd like to see Ice-T or some rapper doing gangster weather.
I thought you were going to say you'd like to see
See
Ice-T
Ice-T
instead
in the
of
weather
water.
condition.
Yeah.
That would also be awesome.
Ice-T.
Today we've got a side order of Fanta. They describe it like courses when we've got an early morning. We've got a starter course of Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Cheese weather.
Of course.
Well, they made that film about that, didn't they?
Oh yeah, Cloudy with
Chance
Chance of Meatballs.
That was reasonable.
It's all right.
Yeah. Although the 3D didn't add too much, I think.
Yeah, but it was quite well done.
Oh, I want
3D.
to see Drive. I hear that's
Drive?
good. It's that film that's coming out.
That film.
Can't say I've heard of it.
I saw Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh, I want to see that.
I don't know if you'll like it.
Really?
I don't know. Because I already
It's got Gary Oldman in it.
Yes.
Fucking love Gary Oldman.
Yes.
Him and Johnny Depp could have my man baby.
Fair enough, yeah. But
You need 3 men in order to create.
but he's just not acting. He's not acting crazy like he is in Leon. He's like really reserved. He's George Smiley or whatever.
It can be okay.
But no.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman's just awesome at whatever he does.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was really, really good in it. But, I mean, see, I already knew the story, but I don't understand if you didn't know the story going in, how the hell you would know what the fuck was going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite...
So you need the historical background, or do
No,
you
no.
need to know the original or the book? Or...
Well, I'd seen the TV series, but if you read the book, that would help, obviously. But
I have no experience of this.
yeah.
It's just got Gary Oldman.
yeah, so, I mean, it was all very well... filmed and everything, all nice, cinematically very nice. But I'd be interested to see.
Cumberbatch too.
Yeah, he's good in it actually.
One of my favourite names ever.
Benedict Cumberbatch, yeah, as Peter Gwilym. Yeah,
Also a great name actually.
Gwilym. Yeah, that's a good name. Smiley.
Gwilym.
Gwilym.
Filth. Being Gwilym. It's a bit of filth.
Yeah. Right. Be interested to see what you think actually.
Alright. Here we go.
I'm still waiting for someone to buy some more Harry Potter DVDs so I can finish watching those damn films.
Where are you up to?
Well, I'm hoping the Blu-ray
I
box
think
set will come out for
Phoenix-
Christmas.
Order of Phoenix was the last one
Not for
that
me.
my parents actually got, I think.
So you're only up 2 to go.
Yeah.
Well, 3
Yeah,
because they
3.
split the last one into 2.
So I'm
But-
still waiting.
That last part of the last one was actually really good. I thought. Part 2.
Yeah, and I can't really fault it. It was a bit, from what I now know, outside of the film, there were some odd sort of like...
Well, there always are when you're
Yeah,
turning
there were always...
books into films.
I mean, yeah, there were always going to be some references, but I thought there were some bits that perhaps were completely unexplained in the film version that you were just like, sorry, what? What just happened? Is that relevant? You don't actually really know. And it's, yeah, so that could have been done a bit better, but I wonder if there were bits they cut out, like, for length, because it's quite a long
Probably.
film.
Yeah, it's good that they did split it in two, because you realise that would have been so squashed, that whole
Yeah.
final sequence of the battle, into... It was basically the whole film is that battle.
There's no way part 2 could have been a...
it
there's
could have
there's
been
no way
one
part
thing.
2 could have been munged into the other one somehow. Perhaps
Yeah.
part 1 could have been shorter,
Sure.
but then it would have been a bit... But then even then it wouldn't have been... it'd been a long-ass film.
Yeah,
I'm talking Titanic lengths.
yeah.
And nobody wants that shit.
What, Titanic? That's a good film.
Well, the second half is good when shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
The
that's
disaster
great.
movie part of it.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
half is just boring. And it's like 1.5 hours of boring. And then you got 1.5 hours of people dying, which is much better.
That's what it's all about.
That dude hits a fan. Or a propeller thing.
It hits the fan.
Yeah. The dude hits the fan.
That should be the subtitle.
Titanic. Dude hits fan.
Man.
We could write. We could screenplay films, damn it. Titanic, the awesome version.
That's the D&D effect. Clearly, we're all going to become much more eloquent and literate just for playing D&D.
Have you played again since we played? We should do that.
Yeah, we did. We played a little bit more of the
right.
starter kit thing rather than my shitty edition.
That was alright.
You haven't seen the end of it yet, so you don't know whether it's actually
That's
good.
true.
You've seen the generic fights that lead up to the thing that I actually put the most effort into, the boss fight.
Which we still haven't seen. Have you refined it, or are you just
No,
going to leave it as it is?
There's not much too refined to it. It's still pretty simple.
What was it? Two statues,
I'm bad at describing
That was
things,
great.
and then I make it too obvious.
No, that was fine. That was a good puzzle.
I actually had a better way of describing that, I just forgot it at the time, so
That was cool.
puzzles are not... It's like, creating shit like that is okay, it's just describing it that's the problem. You have to be careful how you describe things in the world to make them obvious but not too obvious.
Yeah.
You have to like... It's like when...
Subtle hint.
It's like when we did that first part of the starter pack in that room with like the bowls of water or whatever.
Yeah.
And Kimmers was like, I want to look at the water, and it's like, you're in a fight. Fight first, then water.
You should have just had him go over the water and get hacked in
But
half.
all this swordplay makes me thirsty.
But on the plus side, at least someone...
That could have been funny because there was a dragon behind that fucking door, wasn't it? He's just like, I want the water.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true. The goblin was specifically designed to go over there and over that door, but it would have been kind of funny if Kimmers had legged in there first.
It's like, whatever that goblin's going for, I want it first.
But on the plus side, at least someone was interested in the water.
That's true.
So it's like there was interest in the environment. And then eventually Rob got himself in such a position where I was like, you can probably knock over that fiery thing and do some fire damage.
And I was like, oh really?
Yeah.
We can knock those over. Excellent.
Yeah, it's like, if you don't know the idea of like Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah,
being,
I think that's the problem we
you
have
have
at the
to-
moment. We don't sort of ask
You don't
if
go
we can
outside
do
the rules.
things. Yeah.
the actual standard combat rules are nicely laid out and everything. But there's other things you can do.
Yeah.
That's why I was going to print off that other file I found, which has like a more detailed description of what your skills actually means. Like what athletics actually lets you do.
Yeah. That would help.
Like, jump on top of the statue.
Yeah, exactly. It tells you like the specific things that it's like, what the fuck does streetwise actually mean?
Streetwise.
Rob wants to be
I was
streetwise.
about to say, we never come across like any sort of conversation tree mechanics, and it's like, roll your streetwise abilities, you get down with this merchant bro.
Well, no, I mean that is the other part of Dungeons and Dragons we haven't come across
Or
yet.
if we come across the mysterious dungeon of breakdancing.
Roll a streetwise check to do some cool, funky moves.
I need to drop a caterpillar. Chair stand. Air chair, sorry, it's called an air chair, not a chair stand. A chair stand would just be like, I'm doing, like...
He's literally outside, he's got a chair. He's about to do a chair stand.
A chair stand would be like French toilet squat, I guess.
Yeah. I expect we'll, goddamn it, do some more of that at some point. The trouble is it takes us so goddamn long as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one's familiar enough with the mechanics for it to be fast.
Well, we'll have a weekend.
Also, we only have one set of dice, I guess that doesn't help.
We might have a weekend sometime where we don't have to do a podcast and we're all free.
Well, we can still
Not
manage to
next
do it
weekend,
after a podcast, it's just... We have to start early enough so that everyone doesn't fall asleep, and it doesn't go on until past midnight.
Yes.
It's difficult.
Which
So anyway,
is really the
listeners.
same thing.
Now you know, we're checking out the D&D for your...
Failing. No one's died yet, so that's good, I guess.
I know, we nearly did. We
Yeah,
got quite
that's
close.
the whole
got
idea.
pretty dead.
Everyone's meant to nearly die.
Mm.
That's what I say.
Everyone's meant to nearly die. It's a character building experience,
Well, yeah.
even in real
Literally.
life. In D&D, it is literally.
That's basically what happens in all those penny arcade podcasts of their D&D games. Everyone nearly dies.
Oh, roll successive one.
Yeah. That was totally awesome.
Do they podcast their do they
Not
stream
all
their
of them.
D&D games
It was when they were doing their very first games, basically.
when they were just starting out?
When Wizards were making the new version of their starter kit, they invited them basically to run a game,
Wizards of the Coast.
and that was how Gabe got into it. He was like, "Man, this is awesome!" And then from then on, insanity
Going off on a random tangent.
for 1.5 minutes. Go.
Yeah, I read an article on Games Radar that was talking about an old. They have this feature that they do every now and then, old games appreciation section,
Yeah.
and they brought up an old F1 game, like F1 '97, and how it was like groundbreaking at times. It was the first one to sort of use like the TV. What do you call it? The TV style HUD
Right.
and stuff like that, and how to describe it. What I didn't realise is that it was frickin' Blizzard behind it. It's like back then. No,
Really?
not Blizzard. Sorry, Bizarre.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That would have been weird.
Yeah, Formula One craft. But
Well,
no,
the best-
Bizarre were behind it, and
the
it's like
best
this is why they
ones-
got started. Was actually redefining F1 games to be good.
Well,
Apart
Jeff
from
Crammon's
that, the
Grand
Jeff-
Prix was pretty good.
I know, but it was a bit inaccessible if you ask me. It was over sim.
Yeah, it was pretty sim, but it was cool. I like Jeff Crammon's Grand
Although the
Prix.
weird thing about we're timeless.
Grand Prix 2
Yeah,
was
I don't
good.
know. I just thought that was weird. Bizarre made an F1 game. I didn't see that one going.
Really?
Right, so
Oh, F1.
It's all about driving.
30 seconds. Do you want to go over and...
Shall I dramatically crush this can?
Yeah, go ahead.
That made less sound than I was expecting.
Yeah, I know. I did it quite well there.
I wonder if I can... I'll just do it this way.
I didn't even make much noise.
No.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Next time Rob says 20 seconds. Keep crushing that can.
Keep fucking that chicken.
Daniel, you've got 10 seconds to wrap it up.
Join us again on the Sidecast for more computer game discussion and news. Goodbye.
Italian Rob says bye.
Bye.
Bingo.
Outside, fuck!